Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody doing? Welcome to another edition of RossonARI TV. It is Monday. It is time for the news. Yes, Milan news on a Monday. Wow. Incredible, guys. Incredible stuff is happening in the Milan universe. Absolutely nothing. Anyway, I hope everybody is having a great day wherever you are. Wherever you are, I hope you're having a great day. And there is some stuff to talk about today that I think is quite interesting. And I am going to start my own agenda. That's what I've decided. I'm going to start my own agenda. And my own agenda is bring Arda Guler to AC Milan. Arda Guler has been identified as John Connor. Since we're going to go with this Moneyball scheme, young players that you can flip, Arda Guler is the one. Bring Arda Guler. Skynet, find Arda Guler. Allocate all your resources to finding Arda Guler. Make that happen. Make that happen. So hopefully that does happen. We will see how that goes. We will see how that goes. Reports are suggesting that Skynet in this moment is actually trying to, you know, see if it's possible. The issue with Arda Guler, as we have said before, is not really his price tag or even the wages. I don't think Arda Guler is going to be a player that is going to be asking for like crazy wages. I mean, we don't have that information yet. Maybe he is. Maybe he is going to be asking for some crazy wages. So that's something to be seen. But as far as we know, the man, the boy, the myth, the legend, the Terminator, Skynet, AI, Chat GP, whatever it is, he has not. There's no information regarding of what he is asking for if he does get sold. Now, let's not confuse certain things. Arda Güler right now is 17.5 million because of his release clause, but that is something to take advantage of. It is something that you want to take advantage of because if this player did not have that release clause, Fenerbahce could easily ask for who knows what. I mean, if you look at that Brazilian kid, the 16-year-old that Real Madrid bought, Endrick, they paid 60 million for him. So there are youngsters. Real Madrid, always Real Madrid, just paid 100 million for Bellingham. He's a teenager, still 19. So who knows? Who knows what Fenerbahce would actually ask for him if it wasn't for his release clause? So Milan must take advantage of the release clause. This is an opportunity that you're going to have only now. This is the only window in which Mr. Moncada, aka Skynet, aka the Terminator, Jerry is the Terminator, aka Skynet, has the opportunity right now to locate Arda Güler, download his information, and install him into the AC Milan computer. You do it now. You don't do it in 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, because you won't be able to do it because Skynet is a very cheap computer. Skynet is a laptop from 1994. Skynet is operating on Windows 97. So if we wait another summer to make this operation happen, we will never, ever be able to do it. One thing that Skynet does have that they can convince, because essentially that's what needs to happen. You need to convince Arda Güler to come to Milan. According to what is being said, that Arda Güler has a lot of suitors, but you need to convince him. So how do you convince him? Well, Milan is an exceptional platform for youngsters that want to grow into the next step. Milan now is being envisioned as a stepping stone club, right? If you look at the market, the names that we're being linked to, none of these names suggest that we're going in this next season trying to win anything. but it is a market based on players that that are young. A lot of them are very young, but still haven't made that step. That are still they're hungry players. Like Turam is a hungry player. Hjulmand is a hungry player. A lot of these, the only player that I saw that we were linked to that is a player ready to come and win is Taremi, but that's it. Everybody else we've seen that we're linked to very youngsters that still need to go on a big club or still need to prove themselves. So nothing suggests that we are trying to build a club that is going to win the Champions League. But what is being suggested that we're building a club for youngsters to develop, maybe flip them. I mean, that's what it looks like it is. I don't know if that's what's going to happen. Hopefully not. Hopefully that's not the Milan but of the future, because that's not why any of us fell in love with Milan, but this is the Milan of the present. So, Arda Guler Milan and Arda Guler is a marriage made in heaven. Let me tell you why Milan and Arda Guler is a marriage made in heaven. Because he wouldn't have a pressure to come to Italy and defend a title like CDK had, like Ali had, like Origi had, like all these players last season. They came into Milan. The pressure was you have to defend the title. No, now Milan now has placed itself in a different spot. There is no pressure to win a title. The only pressure you have is to perform well. That's it. Just perform well. The club is not asking you to win a title. Now, the players that are already there, the starting 11, they're going to push. They're going to they want to play for titles. That's for sure, because they have already went through the phase of growth. So they don't care. They're going to push for a title. But a team like Milan is basically a Borussia Dortmund on steroids, because it's a team with exceptional pedigree, a team that competes in a very competitive league, and it is an exceptional stepping stone for young players to come develop and maybe be sold, so Mr. Terminator can pay for his debt, essentially. So bring us if you're going to make us suffer this way, Mr. Terminator, at least bring us Arda Guler so we can enjoy great football for a few years. If you're not going to build a team that is going to win any trophies, at least bring us players that are exciting. Okay, players that maybe if things go well, you can actually keep them. Arda Guler is a kind of player that right now, exceptional talent. He is the Vice Verasquilla of this market. He is the one guy that he is the Bitcoin of 10 years ago. You buy him now because you will never, ever, ever in your dreams have another opportunity to get him again. The train is passing by fast. Latch on, or you're going to lose it forever. So, the one operation that this management can do and restore my faith in this management is the Arda Guler operation. This operation needs to happen. This is an operation that will definitely raise the bar for sure. Let's talk a little bit about Arda Guler. Very good numbers for his age. Very good numbers for his age. That is definitely, you can't discuss any of that. Very good numbers for his age. If you look at him, exceptional footballer, extremely technical, extremely composed, genius footballer. 17 years old, 18, just turned 18 already a top G in the Turkish league, which is okay, a third tier league. Yeah, it's fine. Vice Verasquilla was killing it in Russia. He came to Italy, made Italy his bitch in one season. It was that simple for Vice Verasquilla. First year in the Serie A, Vice Verasquilla gets MVP of the season and wins the Scudetto. One season, almost gets 30 goal contribution. So Arda Guler is kind of in the same boat. We're talking about someone that is kind of in the same boat. These are supernatural talents that you have to get, because these guys are going to be the difference makers. Now, big difference between Vice Verasquilla and Arda Guler is that Vice Verasquilla came to Italy when he was 21, right? Very big difference from 18 to 2021. Very big difference. That's 2 years / 3 years. Okay. In that age bracket, your body develops, your experience, molds you into a completely different player. So if Arda Guler does come here at the age of 18, of course, we can't expect him to be Leao at 24. We can't expect him to be Vice Verasquilla at 21. But we can expect a good player that will definitely bring something technical, will definitely raise the technical bar. Because one thing about football, guys, is that if you are exceptionally technical and composed, your ability to adapt is much easier. When you don't have those qualities, then it becomes difficult. Then you have to rely on other things that need time to develop. But when you are already a superior footballer than most of the people around you, it's much easier to adapt and to settle. So Arda Guler is going to have these advantages. He is going to have these advantages because he is a player that already at his age, he has these abilities. But again, if Arda Guler comes to Milan at the age of 18, the expectations can't be this guy's going to help us win the Champions League. This guy's going to make us win the Scudetto, blah, blah. No. If he comes, we have a player that in 2 or 3 years is going to be amongst the best players in the world. Since we are a team that develops players, this is the best player you can develop. It's literally the best player on the fucking planet you can develop. The other great player that we can develop, we already have him in our backyard. His name is Camarda, the Italian kid. That guy there is looking pretty crazy. And by the way, Camarda has been officially sent to the Primavera for next season. Oh, by the way, little parentheses. So the U16 Milan lost in the semifinals against U16 Rome. So the U16 finals for the season is going to be Rome versus, I think it was Fiorentina again. But the league in itself was completely dominated by Milan. They won the league, kind of like how Napoli won the Serie A. The U16 won the league, but then because in the youth sectors they go to playoffs. In the playoffs, Milan lost to Roma. In case anybody wanted to know, if you give a shit. So Camarda is not going to have an opportunity to win the Scudetto again, but Camarda is going to be moved to the Primavera. So finishing off with Guler. Yes, this is the guy. This is the dude. Because this is what's going to happen. I already know what's going to happen. If you don't get him now, this guy's going to start to go into bigger teams, start to make his name, start to do some crazy shit, crazy highlights, make headlines. In 1 year, 100 million. Real Madrid wants to buy Arda Güler for 100 million. This team is Man City. Guardiola in love with Arda Güler. He wants to replace Mahrez with Arda Güler. Wants to replace this guy with Arda Güler. 120 million, 150 million. Why take it to that? Get him now. This is the guy. All right, let me go to chat. Let's see what you guys are saying in chat. Interested FC. What's up, Alexander? Alexander, he is actually one of the first person this ear that brought up Arda Guler. Milan for life. Hey, Falcon Flynn, I sent you a message on Instagram for the WhatsApp chat, so you can just reply to that. Stop with the BS, Roy from Laert Caralho. Laert Caralho, guys. Check out Laert's live from yesterday. He did exactly 1 hour. Half an hour was Mbappe. The other half an hour was I don't know, us talking over each other. Jerry working in silence like a killer, killing this club. What is going on with Jerry? So, guys, listen, talking about the club and other things, we apparently received an offer from this Qatari ownership, right? That offered 1.4 billion. According to Vitiello and Vitiello's friends close to Milan, they say there's nothing to this offer. And then he said what I think it was the logical conclusion is that Jerry has a project, has a plan. His plan, it's a 10-year plan to basically build up to the point where they build the stadium. At that point, when they build the stadium, the Milan's value is going to go up, and that's when they're going to sell the club. The moment that Jerry builds the stadium and the stadium will be fully functional, that's when Milan is going to be put for sale. Guys, remember something, guys. I know this pisses some people off. There's some people in this community that want to be super optimistic and yada yada yada. Maldini was the witch, and now that we burnt the witch at the stake, Milan is going to be perfect. We're never going to make any more mistakes ever again in the calcio mercato. Every single player we're going to get from now on is going to be absolutely perfect now that Maldini is gone. But let's not forget, guys, the plan behind Jerry's purchase of AC Milan was not to build a team that wins trophies, a team that produces incredible sporting results on the field, but a team that whose assets, the players, increase in value, basically by buying them cheap and then increasing them in value, like buying a player like Arda Guler for 17 million, and then in 2 or 3 years he's going to cost 100 million. That means the value of the club, the assets of the club go up, and building a stadium, all in the name of profiteering. All right, guys, that is the engine, the Terminator, the engine that is driving AC Milan. That is what this club is about right now. It's not about winning trophies. If we go back to the past, when Berlusconi bought the club from the courts, his goal was to build the best footballing team on the planet. 8 Champions League finals, Intercontinental Cups, Ballon d'Ors, Scudettis, and blah, blah, blah. That was his vision. That's why that happened, because his vision was that, and he had exceptional personality, exceptional heart. He surrounded himself with exceptional people. He had the eye for it. He was a man of football, exceptional entrepreneur, exceptional everything. So an exceptional owner with an exceptional vision, and he was able to achieve that vision, being one of the most successful football owners of all time. Some say the most successful football of all time. That's why that happened. Okay? Because the engine behind Milan was a damn Bugatti, as the top G likes to say. Right? The engine behind this Milan is very different from Berlusconi. So people need to realize this before they come onto the chat and they try to tell me that, don't worry, Moncada is going to freaking get all these great players and we're going to be this and that and that. No, it's not like that. It is the energy, the vision, the ambition of the engine behind the team that determines how far this team will go. Okay? So, since we are going to adapt to the new, we have no choice but to adapt and to accept situation. Let's fully take advantage of it. Because let me tell you something. If this was Berlusconi's Milan, we would have gotten Arda Guler, probably, but most likely we would have gone for a player that is already, is already ready to make help us win the Champions League. Probably that would have been a bit difference. But right now, this is a different kind of Milan. This is a Milan perfect for a player like Arda Guler. This is a marriage made in heaven. You cannot discuss this. You cannot convince me otherwise. If you are reading the situation perfectly clearly, you cannot tell me that this new project is not a marriage made in heaven for Arda Guler. One more time. Italy, Serie A, third best league in Europe, or maybe second or third. It depends. I mean, when we look at the results on the pitch this year, according to all the coefficients put together, Italy was the second most competitive league after England, the EPL, and the numbers are very marginal. Okay. Italy, a lot of appeal. A lot of Turkish players have come through Italy. Difficult football that really helps you improve. A lot of champions have come here. Have gone through Italy, and then through Italy they have gone to these other big clubs. So it's perfect. If Arda Guler goes to Real Madrid, he's going to be on the bench. If Arda Guler goes to Man City, right now he's going to be on the bench. If Arda Guler goes to any of these big clubs, he's going to be on the bench. Arda Guler right now, his category is to be in a medium high level club, like a Dortmund, like a Benfica, like an AC Milan, like a Leipzig, like a Brighton, like a Napoli. You could definitely see him go. As a matter of fact, Napoli is looking at him. So fuck. Out of all of these, if out of all of these categories, Milan has to be at the top of the pyramid. Milan has to be at the top of the pyramid. So it's just the will of the player and how much does the club really want him. So I'm going to push the Arda Guler agenda hard. I am. Why? Because I want to remind people before we move on is that Arda Guler, his price today is 17.5, but that's exclusively because of his release clause. You take that release clause out of there, Fenerbahce is selling this player for 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 million, depending on the suitor. Okay, this is the best deal right now in football. The best deal in football today in football. For a team like Milan. Not for a team like Real Madrid. Not for a team like Real Madrid doesn't give a shit about getting an Arda Guler. Real Madrid doesn't care about getting an Arda Guler. They don't care because they don't care about flip. Real Madrid is not a team that flips players. They buy to keep. Man City buys to keep. All the best teams buy to keep. PSG, they're probably looking for more mature players, for more ready players. Our situation is completely different. We need to buy to flip and to increase the value of the asset. That's the main reasoning. That's the main engine behind AC Milan. That's why Maldini got fired, because Maldini's vision was to buy players and create a Milan that is that can be up there with the top four, like he said in that CBS interview during the Inter semifinal, when he said, we're up here with the big four, but we're not really there. We must be brave and invest. And in order, Maldini wanted to be there. Maldini, his vision is what he was born into and what he always knew, being an elite champion. Maldini lives to be an elite champion. Maldini, for him, Milan was something that you build in order to make them elite champions. Jerry and all the yes men in the Jerry camp are there to build a Milan with exceptional assets, that and then build a stadium and then sell for a profit. That's why they bought Milan. Okay, Jerry did not buy Milan because he loves Milan and he loves football and he wants to fucking win the eighth Champions League, the ninth and the 10th, and blah blah blah. No, he was told by his American buddies in the forum conventions, in the economic forum conventions they have around the world, that European football could be a great investment, a long-term investment, and it's something to look at. So he took the advice of his buddies, and now he Redbird gambled. They gambled. They took out these crazy ass loans, vendor loans too. Not only vendor loans, but other loans as well. They bought the club for a credible, incredible amount of money, and now they have to make a profit. Now they have to make a profit. So buy cheap, increase the value, build a stadium, sell. That is the operation. That is Skynet's mission. That is Skynet's mission. But let's talk about the fans. As long as they do get some interesting players, and the players can entertain us. The players can definitely do something for us. They definitely can make us proud. So there is a very good chance that, now listen, I want to talk about this too, because this needs to be addressed. There is a good chance that Milan this summer can get a good crop of young, hungry players that can be added to the core that we already have. And then this combination of this crop of young, hungry players and the core that we already have can become a force of nature. That is definitely in the books, guys. That is definitely in the books. Now, the only thing to consider is the competition. Juve, Inter, especially these two teams, they don't give a fuck about profiteering and any of that. They don't give a fuck about their debts. They don't give a fuck about, I mean, this is what it looks like. Now, it's been, 5 years, 6 years that we've been following these teams closely. They do not give a shit about any of that. They just want to win trophies and to be elite. So, thing that we got to watch out for is Juve and Inter, especially those two teams, because already the market is suggesting that they want to build pretty badass teams. They're going for badass players. For example, Milinkovic-Savic. Today, Juve is going all in for Savic. Frattesi, right now, probably Italy's hottest midfielder. Inter is going all in for him. We, on the other hand, are going for Chukwuemeka, by the way, which we will talk about. This week, Moncada, Fruilani are going to England to have a meeting with Chelsea for Captain America Pulisic and the midfielder Chukwuemeka. Very disappointing names. Now, Pulisic, okay, sure, he can probably have some immediate impact because he's an experienced player by now, and he can come in right away, and he's got enough experience not to fall for the pressures of Milano. But Chukwuemeka, I do not understand that operation one bit. Like, that player should not be linked to AC Milan. It makes no sense. I saw that player in the U20 World Cup. He wasn't even a starter for England. He played against Italy in the second half. Didn't do anything. He got outplayed most of the time. He got dribbled most of the time by those shitty Italians, right? Italians are not good enough to play for AC Milan. But we have to go for Chukwuemeka, who is a bench player for the U20s. Make this make sense. How the fuck do you expect us to be competitive when we're going for it's? We might as well kept ranks. If we're going for Chukwuemeka, as keep ranks, because ranks is more or less the same age. Ranks is already in the national team, in the starters. He's already being called up for the national team. He already has 1 year experience. We're more or less the same type of player. Chukwuemeka is more offensive. He's more offensive. But fuck, in that case, just keep ranks instead of going for Chukwuemeka. Like, Chukwuemeka is like such a downgrade. It's like, what are we doing? I mean, did I miss anything? The least impressive team I saw in that World Cup was England, out of the teams that Italy played against. There were so many damn talents that Brazil was packed with talent. Colombia had a lot of interesting players, really interesting players that were dribbling through like players like nothing. Uruguay was full of incredibly talented players. Italy was full of incredibly talented. Actually, the fucking check this out. This pisses me off the most. Italy's 2 most talented players in that tournament was Casadei, who Inter sold in order to keep Lukaku or to get Lukaku. And by the way, Casadei right now is being linked to Juventus. Juventus wants to try and get Casadei in exchange for, I think right now the word is Vlahovic to Chelsea, and Chelsea money plus Casadei. That's what Juventus is asking. So that's right now what they're saying. But the other extraordinary talent, there are many other talents, but the other extraordinary talent was the goalkeeper, Desplanches. He won the Golden Glove, crazy saves, incredible personality. Guess what? He was a fucking AC Milan player. We sold him to Vicenza. We sent him out on loan, then we sold him. So the fucking best goalkeeper of the tournament was an AC Milan player. We sold him, but now we're being linked to a bench player from England that got eliminated in the quarterfinals. Make fucking sense to me, guys. I need you guys to fucking make this sense. It does not make any fucking sense to me. Make this make sense. We had the fucking best U20 goalkeeper on the fucking planet. We sold him. But right now we're fucking buying plane ticket to go to England to try and get a fucking bench player that got kicked out by Italy in the quarterfinals. Shit does not make sense to me, guys. All right, we got Antonio in the house. Let him take over for a little bit, and then I'll go to chat. I know I've been neglecting chat a little bit. What's up, Antonio?
Yo, how's it going? How are you, man?
Very good, very good. How are you?
Fucking fantastic, man.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about Arda Guler, man. Do you think we're gonna get him or what?
I hope so. It seems like there's some good links. I think if we can't get like Chukwueze, or if we're willing to spend like north of 20 million for Chukwueze, then we can probably get Arda Guler. But the problem is, I feel like the management is kind of scared that if they spend that much money on Guler, he won't be ready in his first year, while Chukwueze is expected to, even though you might not think so, Chukwueze is expected to at least contribute more if he comes in because he's already like 24. He played in La Liga, so that's kind of I think that's kind of what the management is thinking. Um, but if you're looking at that right wing position, like for the future, I think I wouldn't mind saving some money going for Arda Guler, and then using the rest of the budget in some other places. I think hopefully we have more than 30 million. I would love to believe that, but we'll see.
Well, listen, let me tell you this. Chukwueze, obviously, as we looked at him, there's many great qualities when it comes to Chukwueze. But guys, I am coming to the chat. I know I did not look at the chat for a while. I see there's almost 70 messages that I've missed. So I will go to chat, guys. Don't worry. I will go to chat. But let me say something about Chukwueze. So Chukwueze obviously is an upgrade to what we have. Obviously, there's a lot of qualities to Chukwueze, but there's zero chance now that Chukwueze is going to is going to go up to 100 million, 120 million, 150 million, those kind of prices. Like Chukwueze's ceiling is going to be, maybe 60 million, 70 million. But Arda Guler, we're talking about a guy that is probably going to get to 100, north of 100. Like, that's a big difference. Yes, Chukwueze, if you get him right now, is more ready today. No doubt about that. Anybody that would discuss that is crazy. But if you look at ceiling, bro, you're talking about an 18-year-old that looks like a top baller. This kid is going to be in the conversation for the Ballon d'Or. It's in his destiny. It is in his future. So that's a big difference. It's like the difference between, I don't know, a really good car. I don't know what the fuck. A Mercedes and a fucking Ferrari. Both are good cars, but obviously the Ferrari is a more valuable car. So, this is what we're talking about. And honestly, dude, I don't know if this club really cares about the immediate results. If they need a ready player, I don't know about that. Nothing suggests to me that they're trying to do that. Nothing suggests to me we're trying to do that. Okay. Let's go to chat here. What is the point of Moneyball if you want players that are experienced instead of young talent? Yeah, true. So that's another reason why I say let it's my agenda, guys. I understand it's my agenda, and Guler. I'd be happy with Guler, Baldanzi, and Romero over Chukwu. Well, I don't think we'll be able to get all three of them. But, guys, I'm not against the Chukwueze operation. I think it would be a good operation. Because, listen, get them both. If you're going to sell Messias and Salamakers, if you're going to sell them both, get them both. But Chukwueze, there's one thing about Chukwueze that you cannot deny. When you look at his how many appearances he had last season, this guy never got injured. By the way, Taremi also never got injured last season. Anyway, that's another conversation. But Chukwueze never got injured the whole freaking season. He played literally every single, almost -1 every single game in the competition in La Liga. Plus, he played almost all the games in the European competitions, both Europa League and Conference League, and in the domestic cup, the whatever it is, the Copa del Rey. And for the national team. So it's another Kessie, a kind of player that never gets injured. So Chukwueze is definitely a very good option for AC Milan. I'm not going to deny that. But Arda Guler is like one of these one in a million time opportunities, because this is the big difference. I'm going to say this again. Chukwueze today, 24 years old, cost last year of his contract, he cost what? 20 million? 25 million, maybe maximum 30 million. Today, Arda Guler, if he didn't have this clause, he'd cost 60, 70, 80 million, maybe even triple Chukwueze, depending on what Fenerbahce evaluates him. We don't know. But one thing for sure is that 24 years old, Arda Guler is not going to cost 20 million or 30 million, even if it's the last year of his contract. He's going to probably cost north of 70 million. So this is the difference that we're talking about. Now, you can agree or not agree. Of course, these are opinions. But this is why Antonio, you're right. Chukwueze today is probably going to be a better investment for the short term, because he can give you something right away. But, the overall operation has to go to Arda Guler. You don't agree?
Wait, what did you say? Say that one more time.
Oh, bro, I fucking spent half an hour saying that. I'm not gonna say.
Well, you said you don't. No, I said it sounds like you agree with what I said, right? Like you were kind of just saying that on the short term. I think I would get Arda Guler just because. But we'd also need to make sure we spend money in the striker position as well to get him.
Majidine Zerti says, Roy, why do you think Jerry did not assign Moncada as sporting director? That shows he doesn't trust him, right? Yeah, so apparently the news that we have on that is that Milan needs to have a sporting director in order to compete for the next season. So they need to have that. It's part of the rules. And it looks like Moncada right now is just in charge of scouting the players and trying to, initiate operations. But according to what was said just a few days ago, Milan will have a sporting director, someone assigned specifically for that role. They haven't specified who. The name Tare came up again, so it could be Tare, but maybe they're going to just promote Moncada to that. We don't know yet. We don't know yet what the official news is on that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Guler can either turn out as Real Madrid, Ozil, or Milan Hakan. More like no. Hakan at this age was not doing any of that stuff that he's doing right now. Maybe Ozil, maybe more like Ozil. Yeah, yeah. Actually, kind of looks similar to Ozil. You're right about that. Why will Guler choose Milan over all the top players in the world? Like, you mean top clubs like Alvarez? Well, because it's a good stepping stone club. Milan is maybe one of the best stepping stone clubs on the planet, don't you think?
Yeah, and also the top clubs aren't really linked with him heavily yet. So you're looking at Borussia Dortmund, other clubs.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So we're talking about Borussia Dortmund, Benfica, these type of clubs, Napoli. Like Inter is not interested in Arda Guler. Juventus is not interested in Arda. Juventus is interested in Italian talents. Juventus already got their quote unquote Arda Guler, which is Pafundi, which is an exceptional talent, 16 years old. Another one, 17 years old, Italian wonder kid. He's already a Udinese. He was in the U20s. He scored that fantastic free kick against South Korea, and they're going for the Juventus wants to keep the Italian identity thing going. They're all about that. So they're going for Pafundi, and also Juventus is not looking to buy children. They're looking to fucking get ready players that with experience, etc., etc. Roy, is Guler better than CDK? Easily better than CDK. Way better than CDK. Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's no doubt about that. CDK at the age of Guler was not doing anything close to what Guler is doing right now. What do you think, Antonio? How would you respond to this question?
Stats wise, no. But when you look at CDK's highlights on Brood, and when you look at Guler's highlights, Guler just looks to be another level of player.
Stat wise, at this age, Guler definitely has great stats.
I thought he only had like 2 goals with the senior team.
Okay, so what I saw that in some what fuck, hold on, let me see. Let me go to this article here. Let's go to this article here. Okay, so in his 2 seasons played in the Turkish Super League, Guler amassed 59 appearances, scoring 13 goals and 18 assists, which are good numbers for a player who only turned 18 on 25 of February.
That's over 2 seasons?
That's over 2 seasons. So
okay, I think I checked transfer market. I think it was just this year for some reason.
Yeah, and this year, the season. Did it just start? I don't know. I don't know how the Turkish league works. But anyway, so this article, that's what it says. Promising numbers in 59 appearances, 13 goals, and 18 assists. Yeah. Guler could come regardless of Kamada's arrival, and he could potentially occupy any role in the trident behind the center forward in Stefano Pioli's 4-2-3-1. Specifically, the cam role and the winger role. I don't think Pioli would use him as a cam, because Pioli does not like the classic cam. Pioli likes this advanced midfielder kind of situation. So a Kamada, a Krunic, a Benacer, a Kissi, a Çalhanoğlu. That is the kind of cam that Pioli likes. And that's the kind of cam that Pioli tried to mold CDK into, right? CDK was an experiment, essentially, because CDK did not play as a cam at Bruges. He played either on the wing or as a center forward, false nine. But Pioli and Maldini, they thought that CDK could come in and they could transform him into this cam, right? That was the whole idea behind it. And even CDK in the beginning of the season, when he was being interviewed, he's saying that he could definitely mold into that position because he has the qualities. They thought that he had the qualities to do that, but then they realized that he needed a lot of time before being able to compete in the San Siro. Okay, so yeah, that's the numbers that I'm seeing. So at this age, if these numbers are correct, CDK was not producing those numbers. If those numbers are correct. Okay. Let's go to. Okay, since you're here, Antonio, I have a question for you. Opinion. All right, guys. So yeah, as I said, I'm pushing the Arda Guler agenda. Some people may agree with me, some people might not. You know, it's all opinions. We all have a right to our own opinions. My opinion is Arda Guler is a gem. He's 1 in a million. If right now is the only time in the history of this player that he's going to cost 17.5 million. From the moment that this window closes, his price will be north of 50 million easily, and then from there on 100 blah 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 blah. So out of reach. Now is the only time. Okay, Colombo is official. Antonio, Colombo is officially an AC Milan player now. So Milan have officially activated the buyback clause, and he is a Milan player. Now, in my opinion, I would like to see him as a third striker, but reports are suggesting that he might go back on loan. There's suitors, right? There's a bunch of suitors. So Corriere dello Sport says this. As has been reported by Corriere dello Sport, Salernitana are keen to swoop early for a striker that they think will be pursued by many similar teams this summer. Colombo has been on loan at Lecce, and the Giallorossi did choose to buy him, but Milan have since exercised their buyback option straight away and will return to the club. He is on international duty with Italy's U21. By the way, Tonali has been named captain of the team. That was reported today. But he will then come back to training with Milan and be evaluated before it is decided if he should go out on loan or not. Given Milan are in need of strikers, it is not impossible to imagine him being kept around for depth, although loan may suit him better. So let's go to opinions, guys. I'm going to give you mine. I want to hear Antonio's, and then we'll go to chat. My opinion, guys, we keep Colombo from now on third striker. Third choice.
No.
Third choice, and then give him the opportunity to learn from a striker like Giroud, right? And whoever comes in. Hopefully whoever comes in is a very good striker. So our depth, three center forwards, that's good depth. We can use Colombo from the Coppa Italia. We can use Colombo when one striker is injured and when you want to do your rotations. At this point, I would keep Colombo, but I'm also not against sending him out to a bigger club on loan, like a club like that, not Salernitana, a bigger club than Salernitana. That is my opinion. Antonio, take it. What do you think?
Yeah, that's a really good conversation to have. I think that on the one hand, from a Milan perspective, if you can have three strikers and have him be the third choice, it's really good. It's good depth. I do think that I don't think he's ready to be playing a lot of games for Milan. So I think I would rather have Giroud and maybe someone else ahead of him. That's like a must. But then on the other hand, I think also he needs to keep playing more games because he didn't play a ton of games this year. But I don't think he started a lot of games. So I want him to get more game time. So From his perspective, I guess for his development, it would be better to loan him out. But the problem is, who's going to be a third striker in this club, and how many games are they going to play? That's my big concern. I guess I'm leaning more towards a loan for that reason, so we can develop. That's what I think.
Yeah, speaking about a third striker, right? So if we look at this season, who was our third striker essentially? It was Rebic, right?
Yes, yes.
So basically, if he gets the same amount of playing time that Rebic got this season, it wouldn't be too bad. Now, of course, like you said, if he goes out and he plays regularly, nothing can be that. Like that is the best thing for him. That is definitely the best thing for him. But if we are going to decide to keep this player, why not? Why not start now? Another thing about him that was said about the U20 Euros. The U20 Euros is a very, very interesting competition, and the stars of the future are usually the European stars of the future are usually born in this competition. This is where they all start. So if he does have a very good tournament, I would actually really evaluate the trying to see if he could be ready for Milan. Let's see. We shall find out. Okay, let's go to chat. What do you guys think? Colombo needs to play to improve. He needs another loan and have more playing time. So, yeah, send him out on loan. If I would send him out on loan, maybe Monza could be a good destination for him. A team that is trying to at least fight for a European spot. Bologna, Monza, Sassuolo, something like that. Maybe not necessarily one of the seven sisters or the eight sisters, if you include Fiorentina in there too, because that's very difficult to put one of your players on loan in one of those teams in Italy. But but the teams below the eight sisters, I think there is a possibility. Not a team that is fighting for relegation. He already had that experience. Not only, guys, check this out. Antonio, check this out. Not only he had the experience of now playing in a relegation team, but he had the experience to win or stay in Serie A by having the key play of the season. He scored the goal, the penalty that allowed Lecce to stay in Serie A. So not only he was given that experience, but he literally completed the ultimate experience. Like a video game, he completed the video game. That has to say something, at least for his development or growth. Not necessarily whether or not he's going to be a top superstar or not, but just for his development and growth. It has to be a big win for him personally. What did you think about that, Antonio, when he was assigned the most important play of the season? Lecce came to a point in the season where one play would have decided their fate. That penalty would have decided whether they would go to Serie B or Serie A, and Colombo was given the responsibility. The youngster. And then he converted. What did you make out of that, Antonio?
From what I heard, he was given, like, the players decided on the field who was going to take it. They didn't have a person that was going to step up. And so he decided to take it, and they had faith in him. From what I've seen, he does have good confidence. He tries long shots. He scored some goals in the preseason with Milan a few years ago. He's got really good courage, and that's something that's super important, confidence. So for me, that shows you that he has character, and then if you have character, mentality, they say it's one of the most important things. That derby said it too. I'll be right back. I'm in the middle of a thunderstorm now, so 1 second.
Yes, great point there. Personality, character. That is probably one of the most important qualities that you need, especially if you're playing in top flight football. We definitely saw that if you can be a good footballer, if you lack that, we saw it firsthand what happens with some of the players in our team this year. So yeah, great point right there. Like the fact that he put that on his shoulders, and because he could have missed that. If he would have missed that, my God, that would have been terrible. But he had the guts, he had the balls, he had the personality to go up there and take this chance. He pretty much gambled. It was a huge gamble, ballsy gamble. Yeah, I think that says a lot about him. Um, no, okay. The other guy, guys, is me from another device. It's just because Skynet is not working properly right now, so I need to be on two devices. Colombo is not showing he's determined to be first starter for a big club like Milan. Well, why not? Why not? I mean, maybe not yet, but if you give him the opportunity, he could. He could. We don't know. That's why I'm saying keep him as a third striker, not as a first striker, second striker. We don't want to give him that responsibility. Give him the responsibility of a third striker, depth, right? That's all I'm saying. Or send him back. I don't know. Colombo is a solid striker, especially for a third option. Roy, Arda Guler played against Latvia. You should watch the highlights. Right now, guys, my Skynet is not working properly, so won't be able to do that. But I will check it out. Colombo's playing with Tonali U21. Each like equals one more gigabyte of RAM added to our algorithm. Yes, absolutely, guys. That's right, guys. Make sure you click that like button. Make sure you click that like button because we need those gigabytes. We need those gigabytes. We need to upgrade the system. We need to get the new version of Skynet because the Skynet that Milan is operating on is from 2007. So definitely click that like button. Glitch in the matrix. That's right. That's right. Okay, let's talk. Since we are talking about Colombo, Lecce, let's stay on the same subject here. Nasty. Let's talk about Nasty. So Nasty, a player that had a decent season in Cosenza, similar trajectory to Colombo. Milan using Milan doing the same thing, with him as they did with Colombo. So this is what they're saying about Nasty. Let me see if I find the article. So they're looking to maybe send Nasty on loan to Lecce and have him a similar path as Colombo did, but there's also the possibility that Nasty could be used in an exchange deal for Hjulmand. Hjulmand, a midfielder that has done very well in Serie A this season, a midfielder that combines quantity and quality fairly well, more quantity than quality, but a player that is already with the senior national team of Denmark. And this operation here could be interesting. It could be interesting. At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, is there space for Nasty at Milan in the future? He could be a player that we use for an exchange, and it could be a good operation. So I don't know. What do you not? Of course, we haven't seen much of him yet. Nasty at Cosenza, he did have some very important goals. He did have some very big moments, kind of like how Colombo did with Lecce, but not many goals. His numbers weren't extraordinarily impressive, so that needs to be said. But these youngsters usually that's the norm. So players like Arda Guler and these kind of players, these are the rule to the exception. But most of the strikers, usually the norm is like a Colombo, like a Lecce, etc., etc., etc. So this operation here is an interesting operation since we need a midfielder to cover for Benacer. Hjulmand has been linked with AC Milan, and it has been reported that Nasty could be used in an exchange operation with him. So we will see whether or not that comes to fruition. We'll see whether or not that is a good deal. We will definitely analyze it when the time comes. So this is what the article says. AC Milan target. No, wait. Never mind. I cannot find that article. Anyway, that was a piece of news that came out today. It's an interesting piece of news. We'll see whether or not anything comes out of it. Forza Milan, Animaniac. That's he didn't play much for Cosenza. Well, actually, that's not true. I mean, maybe he didn't start many games, but he did play over 30 games. He did have over 30 appearances for Cosenza. He just didn't score many goals. There won't be any player exchanges since, thanks to Juve, everyone be too paranoid to make those player swap deals. The capital gains, the plusvalences, right. That's correct. Fabrizio Romano said Milan will not activate the clause to buy Vranks for 12 million. The Belgian midfielder will return to Wolfsburg. Yes, and also there's some English club suitors that are interested in him. Villarreal CEO, guys. We have some mostly off the bench. I follow Cosenza. Yeah, mostly off the bench. Mostly off the bench. Obviously, he wasn't a starter. Wait, if you follow Cosenza, what about Brescianini? Because Brescianini also had a lot of appearances, but he had some good numbers for a midfielder. I saw that he had something like 3 assists, 4 goals, or 4 assists and 3 goals for a midfielder. Brescianini, that's pretty good. I'm not sure whether he was a starter much of the time, but the stats that I saw suggested that he did start a lot. So if you follow Cosenza, what was your opinion on Brescianini? Let me know. Villarreal CEO Roig Neguera, what a crazy name. Negueroles has been very clear about the financial situation that his club is in right now, which could have a bearing on the AC Milan transfer window. Guys, this is Chukwueze news. Speaking during an interview of AS with AS, the Spanish newspaper, the CEO was unusually open and clear about the fact that Villarreal's financial situation is not perfect. Aha. Okay, so now we have actually people in the club giving us information. So I can see now part of the algorithm is looking for clubs that are in financial trouble, that are selling players. Therefore, the negotiations are not going to be crazy. I see how Skynet works now. Okay, guys. We're putting the puzzle together. We're connecting the dots. The algorithm is programmed to look for players in clubs with financial problems. Therefore, once the negotiation process starts, there is more leeway, right? It's easier to negotiate. When asked if the team is financially balanced, he said that they are at the highest salary level that they can afford right now. Ooh, incredible. We are not in balance. We're still out of budget. We are at the highest salary level we can afford. So either we play in the Champions League or it's complicated. Yeah. Guys, this is breaking news. He then explained on whether the club needs to make sales this summer, and whilst they do not need to see all their best players leave, sales will certainly help the club. We also don't want to do anything drastic. We won't make many changes, but if we don't lower the wage bill further, we're forced to make a profit from sales. Now, remember, guys, Chukwueze is on his last year of contract. He is not willing to re-sign. So obviously, they're going to try to make some money off of this guy and take off his wages. Okay. Now we're starting to see how Skynet works. Okay, I get it. But if we do not lower the wage bill further, we're forced to make this is not the ideal situation, because being forced by something is never good. To break even, we have to sell. But let it be clear that we're in no hurry, nor are we selling anyone off. We have a lot of talent in the squad and a lot of young people. So we are aware that there may be a way out, but not only that, he explained. That is of serious interest to Milan, given they would love to sign Nigerian winger Samuel Chukwueze from La Liga side this summer to be their new right-sided attacker. Samu is a great guy who has been with us for many years. It's true that he would be thrilled to play for a big club in Europe or the Premier League, and we have always worked side by side to improve him. And if this option presented itself, we would sit down and negotiate. I see, guys. Billy Bean. Billy Bean at it again. We have some news here from Monster Snow. According to Gazzetta, Milan offered to sell Ali for 10 million euros. Who's going to buy Ali for 10 million euros? They're going to sell Jackson, Chukwueze, and probably Pau Torres. Yes, I saw actually that Chelsea might be getting Jackson. Pau Torres is a player that might be linked to Italy, actually, Juventus. At least he was last year. Chukwueze linked to us. But we'll have to see if some offer comes along that is advantageous for all three parties. In this case, no offer has arrived yet, and he has an extra year on his contract. What we are clear about is that if something very good does not come along, he will continue with us. Very interesting, guys. So, Villarreal is in a precautious situation financially, very similar to the Inter situation. Therefore, they need to sell, they need to monetize. This just means that the negotiation process is going to be easier. Now, whether or not they have not received an offer from Milan, maybe the Arda Guler operation right now is Milan's priority. Maybe, since that has been reported that Milan is going in for him, or maybe they have offered they have started negotiating with Villarreal, and the CEO just does not want to put it out there. But one thing is for sure. One thing is for sure, guys. Chukwueze is on his last year of his contract. His price can only go down from here. This is a team that probably does not want to lose him for free, right? For us, losing Donnarumma, Çalhanoğlu, Romagnoli, and all of these guys for free, it didn't matter too much because our balance was always getting better and better and better. But for them, it's different. It's similar to Brozovic. They have to sell Brozovic because they need to make the money with Inter. So I see the Skynet is programmed to identify players that are good, but are also in clubs with financial situations that would alleviate the negotiation process. So this has to lead me to the conclusion that the Chukwueze operation, guys, is very, very, very doable. Very, very doable. Chukwueze might be a player that we will see at AC Milan. Take it with a grain of salt. Believe it or not, it's up to you. It's in the eye of the beholder, eye of the reader, brain of the reader. Reports said that Milan and Chukwueze have agreed on personal terms, which is quite common between clubs and players. And the next step is just to go to the club. The club doesn't have great cards. Villarreal, obviously, according to this report here, doesn't have great cards on deck. So Milan here could have an advantage in the negotiation process. Interesting piece of news. Very interesting piece of news. Antonio, are you with us right now, or are you in a storm? What's going on?
I'm here. I'm in. Well, both.
I think Antonio is in a storm right now, and he
Both
is
are
not
true. Both are
available.
true.
Not available. But that was very, very interesting. Guys, make sure you click that like button. Skynet is watching. Skynet needs the likes because Skynet feeds off of those
Hola.
algorithm likes. So please click the like button. Do us that favor. We need you to click the like button. All right, Gazzetta dello Sport. Hakan has advised Guler not to join Milan. Yeah. I definitely see Hakan doing something like that. I would definitely see Hakan doing some dodgy ass shit like that. Okay, so let's go to. Can you hear me? No, I cannot hear you.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me?
I cannot hear Antonio. Hold on. Hold the phone, guys. Can
Hello.
Okay, yeah. What's up? I can hear you now.
Yo, how's it going? Hello?
Go ahead, Antonio.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm like in a storm, but also like this is just yeah, interesting situation.
Sorry, say that one more time.
We're trying to avoid a storm right now.
Yes, yes. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing. Why are you in a storm right now? What's going on?
Driving to the Florida Keys.
Really? Hurricane alleyway, huh? That's where all the storms
No
start.
kidding, man.
That's literally where all the tornadoes, the birthplace of all tornadoes. Anyway, hopefully you're safe. Is it a bad storm or is it okay? Are you all right?
It's not a hurricane or anything. It's just like a lot of lightning, but I think it's passing right now. So
Okay, got you. Ooh, look at this question here from Child Space. Cuadrado is a free agent now. Should Milan sign him? Interesting question. Listen, Cuadrado is not a bad player. I do like Cuadrado. Juventus fans hate him. Juventus fans they are so tired of him. They say that he always does the same three moves. He always makes a mess. But from the outside, Cuadrado does look good as a free agent. Obviously, for our situation right now with Skynet, it makes no sense, so it wouldn't happen. But I do think he's a valuable player. What do you think of Cuadrado, Antonio?
do not want it at my club.
Antonio says no, guys. Antonio says no. The
It's too
Terminator.
old.
Yeah, I mean he is going towards retirement for sure. It makes no sense, but listen, I do think he's a good player. Guido at Miami too? No, I don't think so. SG says no thanks, boss. He can go to the MLS. All right, listen, let's talk about fullbacks. And then I want to go to this news regarding a new defender that has been linked to us, which I think opens up a few other side arguments and discussions. But anyway, let's go to the fullback situation. There's a piece from Gazzetta dello Sport. Let's see what it says. There could be something of a revolution on the flanks for AC Milan during the summer, with a number of fullbacks possibly moving on from the club, a report claims. As being reported by La Gazzetta dello Sport, there are lots of names being linked with moves to Milan in defense, as well as a lot of names being linked with exits. The biggest name that could leave is Theo Hernandez, as both Manchester United and Manchester City have shown serious interest as well as him. Fode Ballo-Touré will be shown the exit door if the right bid comes in. Okay, we'll talk about that. Davide Calabria is deemed to untouchable by Milan. So Theo Hernandez is up for sale, but Calabria is untouchable. Make that make sense. And Alessandro Florenzi will be kept for his depth and experience. There's also mention for the potential return of Serginho Dest, who is not going to be kept by Barcelona after his loan spell at Milan. With other names linked, the fullbacks could look quite different next season. So let's talk a little bit about Theo Hernandez. Theo Hernandez linked to Manchester United and the Premier League. There was a report that came out in the financial newspapers of Italy that was being commented on by some of the Milan journalists in Italy. And it was basically a report that categorized all the different values of the players in Italy. Leao being the most valuable player in Italy. The most valuable fullback in Italy was Theo Hernandez, and his evaluation was 60 million. Now, that is a little bit controversial. I think 60 million for Theo Hernandez is terrible. Like, what are we talking about? Theo Hernandez should be minimum 100 million, guys. We have to use the English market as our benchmark. The English market is incredibly inflated, and that's what we have to do. So if we're especially selling to England, having our players being associated to price values of 60 million, 50 million first of all, it's bad PR for Milan. It's bad PR for the players, and it makes no sense. So now this article that came out, I'm not talking about the one I just read, but the one that came out in the financial newspapers, evaluated Hernandez at 60 million. It's like, fuck no. Hernandez has to be somewhere north of 90 million. North of 90 million. If we are to sell Theo Hernandez, by the way, nothing official has come out saying that he is untouchable. But Fabrizio Romano did say that the club deems him unsellable, even though there's no official statement from the club saying that. You would imagine that Theo Hernandez is unsellable. Hernandez is one of the pillars of this team. Selling Hernandez makes absolutely no sense. But what do you make of a 60 million price tag that is given on Theo Hernandez, Antonio? Any opinions on that?
Yeah, I think that because like we're in Serie A, the values are just a lot lower than some other places. I think that that's like the transfer market rate value, like that you just look up, and that's kind of what's commonly agreed to. But oftentimes, clubs will ask for a lot more than their transfer market base value, like what you see online. So 60 million, I think that we need a bit more than that to actually sell him. I would say though for 80 million, that would probably be like enough to get the management to sell him, if I had to guess.
What about for you? Is there a price you would say, yeah, for that price, I'm okay with selling Theo Hernandez? Is there a number that you have in your head?
I would just say 90 million or above for whatever you can get him. I get like I wouldn't cry if he like if we got rid of him for a good amount because I think Lau and Manyan for me are like the two that are really like without them would be a different team. But I think we can if we can replace what's his name with Parisi or someone else, then we'd be okay.
Mm, gotcha. Okay, so you are willing to sell for the right number, and then maybe get someone that is not as good as he is, but someone that can definitely keep the team competitive. And maybe with the sale of a Hernandez, you can buy players in other positions. Of course, if so. One thing that needs to be said again, we don't have any official statements on this, but I believe I can't remember if it was Vitiello or anybody else that stated that according to his information, all the money that is going to be received from the exit of players, 100% of it is going to be reused for to finance the market. I don't know. That is not an official statement. That is just something that I believe it was Vitiello that said it, according to his sources. Um, I don't know if that is true, guys. So I'm not going to say that that is definitely not an official statement. A lot of people are speculating that if Milan sells like a player for 100 million, a portion of that money is going to be used for other avenues like paying off a debt or stuff like that. But according to, I believe it was Vitiello, he said and according to his sources, if let's say Milan sell Theo Hernandez for 90 million, all of that 90 million is going to be used on the market. Hayek says Frattesi, Barella, Brozovic, Aslani, Çalhanoğlu, and we're out here stuck with Krunic, Pobega, and Tonali with Benacer injured. Yes. But listen, watch out for Inter because if you remember last season, Inter at this point was going in for Bremer, they're going in for Dybala, etc. They were very ambitious in the beginning of the summer, and they did finish with a strong market, but it definitely was not the same names that they started off with. So right now, Inter with the names they're shooting for, they're good names, but let's see. Frattesi looks to be the closest one. Inter looks like to be the closest one to Frattesi. But Roma could also be on Frattesi, guys, because Roma has this discount thing that they can activate. Basically, Roma can peel off 30% off the price of Frattesi with the clause they have on on the contract when they sold Fratesi. Fratesi was a Roma player, came from the Roma youth. So watch out for Roma. Roma might get in that operation there.
Hey,
So
Roy,
yeah,
Magnan and Teo are starting for France, by the way.
yeah, they should. They definitely should. What
Today.
about up top? Is it Thuram or Giroud? Who started?
Well, I didn't get
Thuram?
a notification about Giroud, so it could be Colombo, it could be Turan. I have to check.
Spear Shala says, why don't we look at someone like Kevin Lasagna from Verona? Maybe not. Hold on.
This guy sounds like my dad.
Let me get back to the chat here. Guys, give me a second. Give me 1 second. Gonna Kevin Lasagna. I mean, Kevin Lasagna for me hasn't showed enough. Like, what is the reason in behind getting a Kevin Lasagna? You know, I don't know. He has pace. The kid has a lot of fucking pace. I gotta tell you that. So let's see. Why don't we look at someone like Kevin Lasagna from Verona? Maybe not the best season, but he's an ideal striker, quick and left-footed. If I'm not wrong, similar to Scamacca. Plus, he should be cheap. You know, I've never even thought about him. I've never even considered him. It is the first time I hear anybody consider him. He definitely has some qualities. One of the qualities that I remember that he has is extremely fast, very fast player. But obviously underwhelming. He's been underwhelming at Verona, and that's why maybe, you know, he's kind of been under the radar. Yeah, maybe he could be an option. Maybe. How much was Hakimi? There should be more. Yeah, 100%. Best left back in the world, 100 million plus. Of course. Inshallah, the Arabs, but AC Milan, very generous and will let us spend almost however we want. This current owner is going to make some of us rage, and I think he is living a dangerous life right now. That's right. That is correct, guys. The Qataris want to buy AC Milan. Please, please, Qatar, save us from AC Milan, from Skynet. Please. Joel John, guys, Fabrizio Romano is an Interista. He keeps making up rumors about Milan targets, and other clubs sign up our targets. For example, about Kamada, he has made multiple posts that Milan isn't concrete about Kamada, it seems. Don't forget, Fabrizio, in the start of his career, used to work for Inter TV. The investigation opens up, guys. The investigation has opened up. Fabrizio Romano is an op. He's an op. Fabrizio Romano, guys. Fabrizio Romano gets a lot of clout because he's a tap-in merchant, essentially. You have a lot of journalists that do a lot of work in the background. The thing that, you know, okay, so there's some journalists that don't get a lot of recognition, because what some of these journalists do, they kind of report operations from the beginning, the middle, and then the end. A lot of operations don't happen, so then these journalists don't get any clout. But I like to see what the operations are. So I give a lot of respect to the journalists that put themselves out there and report these operations from beginning, middle, and end. Fabrizio Romano just fucking taps in, does the tapping when everybody else does the work for him. He taps in the last piece of news, and then he gets all the clout. You know, whatever. It is what it is. Hi, Roy. Do you guys think it is Pioli will get sacked this season? Interesting. Good conversation to have. Pioli, I think the season has a lot at stake, because Maldini now was the witch that destroyed Milan. Maldini was the reason why Milan is so bad. Maldini was the demon that possessed Milan. Maldini was exorcised from Milan. Now Milan is safe. But the next witch in line is 100% Pioli. It won't be Moncada or Friulani. Those guys are the darlings of the Terminator, Jerry. So Pioli 100% is going to be looked at. He's going to be the guy that we're looking at. But at the same time, consider this. Pioli is a yes man, and this club likes yes men. So that will save his ass a little bit. But I think that with the scrutiny they gave Maldini, I think Pioli is next. So if Pioli does not achieve what they want him to achieve fast, yeah, he's out the door right away. Antonio, are you there?
Come back to me.
What?
Come back to me.
Okay. Well, you tell me when you can talk, because I want to ask you about Pioli. Teo is untouchable, 120 million plus, maybe. I agree with you. For me, guys, I'm of the old Berlusconi idea. Not, I mean, the first 15 years of his presidency. You don't sell your champions. You keep your champions. You fucking get a champion. He's a champion. You keep him. Now, of course, once Berlusconi's financial empire started to crumble, he had that huge tax debt, 500 million. He had to start to sell clubs. The Premier League was growing really fast. Real Madrid became financially very powerful. So he had to succumb by selling Kaká and Shevchenko, etc. And then later on, Ibrahimovic, Thiago Silva. But the philosophy before all of that was don't ever sell your champions. That philosophy is what allowed us to win 5 Champions League, 8 Champions League finals, and all those trophies. So yeah, I think you don't sell your champions. Theo Hernandez should not be sold, 100%. Fabrizio supports Watford. Don't trust Fabrizio. He is a snake. Wow. Notice the pattern on Fabrizio's post. He's always talking about our signings that are about to happen. Signposting to big teams that Milan have not been able to come to an agreement. Damn. Joel John is on Fabrizio Romano. Look at that. Inter receiving the nod of Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, which is the result obtained after talking with agent Matea Kezman. Okay. New news coming out regarding SMS. Is he going to go to Inter? Is he going to go to Juve? Or is he going to go outside of Italy? We will find out. Kevin Lasagna, no, he's 30 and he's shit. Okay, so he's 30. I didn't know he was 30. I thought he was younger. Yeah, he is the op. He is 100% the op. They're all snakes. The question should be, do you think Pioli is being set up to fail? It depends, because if Pioli is asked, look, Maldini was asking Pioli to make Milan into a super elite team. Jerry doesn't even know what a super elite team is. So what is Jerry asking of Pioli? Maybe Pioli is going to have maybe Pioli is going to have less pressure under this management. So maybe maybe crazy as it seems, maybe Pioli is going to work better under this management because there is no pressure to win anything. Crazy shit. So, Forza Milan, my man. I'd rather have the Mr. Malakia again. Oh, Gattuso. Anybody except for Pioli. If I remember correctly, Pioli was an Inter fan before he came to Milan. Inter fan also won a trophy with Juventus. Luigi, come stiamo, ragazzi? Who would you choose between Milinkovic and Frattesi? Well, I'd have to say Milinkovic because Milinkovic is readier, but they don't play. Yeah, you could argue they play a very similar role. Man, I'd try and get them both. I would try and get them both. I think someone put out a comment on one of our videos the other day, and he said, how come Juventus and Inter can do these operations where they can get players on loan and then pay the players off in multiple sessions, right? Why can't Milan do the same thing? Why can't we get both Fratesi and Milinkovic-Savic and do something like that? Why does Milan have to pay everything cash up front? Why can't Milan do what Inter does or what Juventus does, where they pay every summer, they pay a portion of it? I don't get it. A difficult question, Luigi. Difficult question. The brain says Milinkovic, the heart says Fratesi. That's what I say. Inter will pay him with what? Crypto or yen? Yeah, I don't know. With good feelings. They'll pay him with good feelings. If Maldini was set up to fail, you can bet Pioli is set up to fail. Yeah, maybe, guys. I don't know. Because look, think about it. Maldini's ambition exceeded the ambitions of the ownership, right? So in that case, of course, Maldini was set up to fail, because Maldini's ambition is to, you know, is to be faithful to the history of the club. From his father was the first AC Milan player to lift a European the Champions League. So that is so yes, Maldini was set up to fail, but is Pioli the same guy? Is Pioli content? What is Pioli happy with? Does Pioli want to win the title? Does Pioli want? What are Pioli's ambitions? So maybe you're right, but maybe not. Who knows? Because Juventus and Inter are dodgy as fuck. 100%, guys. 100%. Okay, so when Antonio's back, I'm curious to see what he says about Pioli, whether he thinks Pioli is being set up to fail. But it is a good concept. Is Pioli set up to fail? We shall find out, guys. We shall definitely find out. Okay, let's go on to other reports. Let's see what we have. See if we have anything interesting. Ooh, wow, guys. Look at this. Clamoroso colpo di scena. Let me translate this to English. Sensational twist. Marcos Thuram would be tempted to accept the Milan proposal. Marcos Thuram would be tempted to accept the Milan proposal and refuse PSG. According to Sky Sport 24, optimism filters within the RossonARI management regarding the possibility that the French striker will wear RossonARI next season, a sign that Moncada and Furlani believe they have hit the mark by presenting the technical project to the player. Interesting. Signing bonus hurdle. It is not yet clear whether, as stated by the main sports newspaper in recent days, the French forward's request actually provide for a signing bonus of 10 million euros and a salary of 7 million per season. All figures outside the RossonARI parameters, but if proposed by Furlani, have had the full consent of the owners. Okay, obviously, we spoke about this yesterday in Let's Talk Milan with Red John and the other guys. And Laert, if Thuram joins Milan, it's definitely not at those numbers, for sure. Obviously, he's not making 7 million net per season. Obviously, there's no 10 million signing bonus fee. So, if this is true, guys, we do operate on ifs. Remember, we do operate on ifs. If this is true, Thuram, Giroud, Colombo, I don't think that's a bad offensive department. Of course, we have to see the numbers if he chooses to come to Milan. I think all of us agree, and we've spoken about this a million times, that it just doesn't make any sense that a player coming from a mid-table team would earn as much as someone like Leao, who has already won a Scudetto in the Serie A, and already been awarded MVP. I mean, what the fuck does Leao have to do to get a fucking serious contract? When a guy like Marcus Thuram can just show up and get the exact same contract that Leao has. Like, what does Leao have to do to fucking get a serious contract in this team? Maybe there's more to Leao's contract that we don't know. Like, for example, merchandise and other things that probably the numbers go much higher. That has to be put in consideration also. But Thuram would make more than Tonali, would make more than Hernandez, would make more than Magnan, would make more than Benacer, would make more than all of these guys that have fucking dropped every ounce of their blood and sweat for this club. This guy would just roll in, no sweat at all, and be the highest earner in the club. A guy that has not won a single club trophy in his career. A guy that last season had very poor numbers in the German Bundesliga. The season before, even less. This season, he had decent numbers. Decent numbers this season. You can't deny that. That's all it takes to get what Leao has been trying to get for fucking 3 years. I don't know. What kind of message does that send? What kind of message does that send? Sends a weird message. Very, very weird message. Indeed. Guys, make sure to click that like button. Skynet feeds off of the algorithm. The algorithm feeds off of the likes. For every time you press that like button, Skynet amplifies its search for John Connor. It's coming, guys. We will find John Connor. We will find John Connor. The Terminators will win. The Terminators will win. Click that like button, guys. Click that like button. Okay. We started off with Arda Guler. Let's talk about this article that I wanted to read earlier. AC Milan are not just satisfied with the potential signing of Daichi Kamada on a free transfer, as they're negotiating over another playmaker, a report claims. According to what Sport Mediaset are reporting, Jeffrey Moncada, the acting sporting director, Jeffrey Moncada, aka Skynet, the acting sporting director of Milan, really wants to sign Fenerbahce's young talent Arda Guler. The 18-year-old is nicknamed the Turkish flea. La Pulce Turca. La Pulce. So like that is what they nickname Messi. La Pulce. And can play either as a central attacking midfielder or on the right wing, given he is right-footed, but also has an excellent left foot. There are two roles that Milan urgently need to cover, but the doubts from the RossonARI scouts concern his physicality. 176 centimeters tall, with Brahim Diaz having struggled to assert himself in games for the same reason. Different kind of player. Very different. Diaz likes to collect the ball. Diaz is Forrest Gump, guys. Diaz is literally Forrest Gump. You put the ball on his feet, the guy runs forward. And he keeps on running until he hits a wall and then he falls. That was Diaz. Arda Guler, completely different kind of player. Arda Guler is a player that likes to slow down. He likes to go to the right. He likes to go to the left. He likes to use the players around him to create space. Arda Guler is a playmaker. Diaz was not a playmaker. Diaz is Forrest Gump that can really, literally, that's what he is. Great pressing off the ball, Diaz. But guys, how many times do we see Diaz get the ball in the middle, slow down, go to the right, pass it to the left, then create some space, do 1-2s, and then methodically move the ball up? Diaz, you put the ball on his feet, run Forrest. That's who Diaz is. So very different. Arda Guler is more of an IQ player, a player that is definitely more of in the Modric mold rather than the Diaz mold. Promising numbers. In his 2 seasons played in the Turkish Super League, Guler amassed 59 appearances, scoring 13 goals and 18 assists, which are good numbers for a player who only turned 18 on the 25th of February. Guler could come regardless of Kamada's arrival, and he could potentially occupy any role in the trident behind the center forward in Stefano Pioli's 4-2-3-1. One in, one out. Milan could also sell Charles De Ketelaere to make room in the squad. While the Rossoneri don't intend to sell him cheaply, they will try to test the waters in search of suitable offers that are around 28 million or above. As for Guler, the price tag set by Fenerbahce would be 17 million, a figure that Milan will try to negotiating, knowing, however, that they cannot go below 15 million. Yeah, as we said before, guys, Arda Guler is a once-in-a-lifetime operation. This is the only time in the boy's career that he will be worth this price. If you don't get him now, you will never get him. As far as De Ketelaere, I think the U21 competition will definitely set the pace on his future. Let's see how he performs in the U21s. We're expecting good things from him. In theory, he should be above the class because in theory he should be above the class. So in theory, he should be one of the best players of the tournament. In theory. But in practice, all to be seen. All to be seen. Okay. Let's see what you guys are saying in chat. Saudi Arabia buying everyone. Saudi Arabian league is doing pretty good, actually. Yeah, they're buying a lot of players. Good for them. Apparently, Kamada has landed in Milan. Kamada can't join till the end of the month. He wants a sign-on bonus for his entourage. It's BS 10 million. No can do. Lots of propaganda. That's true. A lot of propaganda. The market is, and the newspapers is filled with propaganda. Will there be a future that Colombo and Daniel play together in Milan? I would love to see that. I'm a big fan of Daniel Maldini. As a playmaker, I think he has a lot of qualities, but he's a player that you have to wait for. I think the example that I gave was Zaccagni, the Lazio winger. He's a player that you have to wait a little bit later on to really get him to perform at those super high levels. I definitely see that in his future, Maldini, if he continues on the right path. Same thing with Colombo. Just because these players today at their age, they're not, killing it right now, doesn't necessarily mean that they won't kill it in the future. Now, again, I'm not talking about players that are going to be considered Ballon d'Or in the Ballon d'Or category. I'm not saying that, but these can be very valuable players. Yes, the heart tells me I would like to see them in Milan. Make it make sense, my man. Make it make sense. Billy feeds off his beans. That's right. Fabio Silva loan rumors. We did see a little bit of that, but his price tag is pretty hefty. Difficult for that to happen. We will see. 72 votes and 27 likes. Roy's killing it. Come on, guys. Click that like button. Let's do it, guys. Click that like button. By the way, what have we voted? Where are these votes at? Is Arda Guler the new John Connor? Will we get him? Yes or no? Careful, don't click on download the 24 sexy hour chat. That's a virus. Or is it an error code? What is it, guys? Which one is it? Forza Brazzers. That's right. Brazzers Stadium incoming. Brazzers Stadium incoming, guys. The new stadium will be sponsored by Brazzers. You know that's incoming. Okay, guys, let's see. Let's discuss other potential rumors. Hmm. Let's go to Twitter, see if there's anything interesting on Twitter. Now, according to sources, guys, this week is going to be a busy week. Monday is starting slow. But they're saying this could be a busy week. Kjaer captains Denmark in their Euro qualifier against Slovenia. So there you go. Kjaer is playing. Oh, yeah, that's right. That reminds me. I did want to talk about this other player that we've been linked to. Let's go to that. That definitely reminds me. So we are being linked to a player, a defender, another defender. Let me get to that. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find that article. Let me see if I can get it, guys. Hold on. Help me remember this guy's name. Bayern Munich player, been on loan all over the place. Benfica, Bayern, PSG. What is this guy's name? Fortunately, my Skynet is not working properly today. I gotta fix it, so I can't get to the news as fast as I usually do. Anyway, we're linked to another defender, Nianzou. Nianzou is the player that we're linked to. Another defender that we're being linked to, which leads me to think that there is possibly a player going out. And I say that it is either Kjaer, whom obviously does not have a good relationship with Pioli, guys. Let's look at Kjaer's situation with Pioli. Kjaer came out during the mid-season, more or less, where he stated that he was in great, excellent condition, and he didn't understand why he wasn't playing. Kjaer, that before that, a long time ago, I remember him saying he loves to play all the time. That's when he's happy, when he's playing all the time. So a player that, doesn't accept the bench very well. Kjaer, a player that in the Milan derby in the Champions League was supposed to come in at a certain point, but it took too long to get ready. Pioli got angry and put Kalulu in there instead. And then a few minutes later, Milan got scored on in that position there where Kjaer should have gone. Maybe Pioli should have been a little bit more patient and waited for Kjaer to get in. Maybe that episode is why Milan got so deflated when that whole Kjaer and Pioli thing went down. So things might suggest that Kjaer is on his way out. It is his last year of contract, but Kjaer is not someone you can monetize on. It's just either you get him, either you get another defender to replace Kjaer, or the other solution, which we have discussed, is they're going to sell Kalulu or Tomori to inject money in the market. Because obviously the market, there needs to be funds for this market. You can't just go into the market with the numbers they're saying. I think selling Tomori is very easy. Also selling Kalulu, selling both these players is very easy. You can definitely make capital gains with both of these players. So I think there is a possibility that they might try and do that. And that's one of the reasons why we're bringing in another defender. So it's one of the two. Either they're looking to sell either Kalulu or Tomori, or Kjaer has made it clear he wants out. Him and Pioli do not see eye to eye. So this was Kjaer's last year with Milan, and the club knows this. Pioli knows this. Nothing has been stated yet, so we're just speculating. And this is why Milan has tried really hard to get Indica, for example, and now they're on this other player, Nianzou. And we've been linked to defenders almost every day, to new defenders. So there is definitely going to be movement there. And it's I've for those two reasons. Either Kjaer, because of the situation with Pioli, is on his way out, or because they want to monetize on they need money from the mercato, and they have identified Kalulu or Tomori as the least painful of departures if they do happen. I would never sell Tomori, not in a million years. I would keep Tomori forever in this club. So hopefully that does not happen. I think Tomori is an excellent defender. He's a top-notch defender, and he's just going to get better and better in time. I would not sell him. I would definitely keep him in the core of the team. But those English teams, they will pay anything for fucking English defenders. I mean, they will. If they pay 80 million for Maguire, they're gonna pay 7 billion for Tomori. So something that they're looking at. One thing I said earlier, we're never going to sell Tonali. So all the rumors about Tonali being linked, that's never going to happen. And again, the only reason why we're not selling Tonali is not because Tonali loves the club and the club doesn't want to do any dirty things. The only reason why we're never going to sell Tonali is because Tonali is the highest merchandise seller. The most shirts that we sell are the shirts with Tonali's name. That is the reason why Tonali is not going to be sold. But a Kalulu and a Tomori, maybe. Leao, obviously not. Magnan, hopefully not. Theo Hernandez, hopefully not. So yeah, the defender situation, I think it comes down to that. Just a speculation. Just a wild speculation, nothing else. There's nothing else to it. Either it's Kjaer because of his situation with Pioli, or it is Tomori and Kalulu to monetize. Anyway, tomorrow I should have Skynet back up so we can use Skynet a little bit better. All right, let's go to chat. Let's see what the chat is saying. Remember to click that like button, feed the algorithm. The Terminator is here. He's searching. Let's see. Ibra coming back to Milan. Well, there was that post that said, Milano is his new home. If he's coming back, guys, it won't be anytime soon. I don't think he's coming back anytime soon. But again, we will see. Balotelli, if there is a suitor, I think so. He will leave. Yeah, absolutely. Is our third goalkeeper leaving? It looks like Vasquez is on the market as well. Whether he will leave or not, I don't know. João Felix might be available. Leao was trying to reach him before as their national team compatriots. Chelsea new manager Pochettino wants his own players. Now, João Felix would be an amazing player to bring in the attacking midfield. Him and Leao, beautiful duo, Portuguese duo. João Felix is too good to be true if that would happen. All of our transfers rumors seem so limp and not concrete compared to last year. Yes, and a lot of them give the suggestion that we are not looking to build a team that wants to win right away, right? João Felix lost his mojo, but he's good, man. I saw him in Chelsea. Like, you put him in a good team, he's good. Currently, Milan is expecting CDK to perform well at the European Under-21 Championships. Guys, which start this week. The Euro 21s is my favorite youth competition. I really enjoyed the U20 World Cup. The U20 World Cup always has a lot of information about the future internationally. But as far as the European landscape, the U21 gives us the future of the European landscape. So I'm looking forward to this competition. I cannot wait until it starts. Nianzou, that's right. Tanguy Nianzou. So let's see what happens with that. Yeah. He has a ton of qualities. I think he can have a resurgence at Milan. I would love to see João Felix at Milan. 100%. The Roma signed Ndika. Yes, it looks like that operation is definitely going Roma's way. Skynet will sell Chow not anytime soon. Skynet is going to wait for Chow's numbers for his stock to raise before they'll consider selling him. Chow is too early to sell Chow. Skynet will wait maybe 2 more years or 1 more year before selling Chow. Chow was a genius operation by Maldini. As I said last summer, that Chow will be remembered as a genius operation by Maldini. Another incredible capital gain. What, they paid 6-8 million for him? This guy in a few years will be worth 60, 70, 80 million easily. Genius operation by the former legend himself, the Terminator killer, Paolo Maldini. Kalulu and Tomori are allegedly both on the market. I definitely see that happening, guys. I 100% see that happening. If they have to use the money for this market, those are the two players that I think are the first in the list for sure. As far as players that you can actually get a big chunk of money. It is sad to say because I would not sell any of these guys. I love the fucking project we were doing, man. Like Maldini and his project was so good. Like he was building such a great squad. Yes, Indika's Roma player for now, as of now, yeah. We paid Lille 30.5 for the Cartellino di Leo. Just think of a new strategy that these people del Bird del Cazzo are bringing to the table. I think they will capitalize on the Milan's vivaio of the new talent and use Serie A to make money. That's what everything suggests this management is going to do. Build your assets in order to bring up the value of the club, meaning capital gains. But the players need to perform. I mean, the thing is, like, the work has already been. What pisses me off the most, honestly, is that like 90% of the work has already been done. And the way Maldini was fired, he will never get any credit for it. The only thing that Maldini will be remembered for, not from us the fans, but from this management, was his Origi and CDK. But all the other players, him, Gazidis, Masara, Bob, even all the way back to Boban, all those other players, all those other projects, nah, gone with the wind. No word on Vasquez, the goalkeeper. Nothing yet. But he is on the market. Anybody know anything about the new goalkeeper that we got not too long ago? I think he's Uruguayan or Paraguayan. He played in South America. League, I believe anybody. Guys, give me 1 second. 1 second. I have to take a call. Okay, I'm back. Important phone call. So let's see, what were we saying here? Good chat, guys. Good chats. You guys are, the chat game is A+, guys. You guys are making the AC Milan universe proud. Good stuff in the chat. Luigi Timpano says, I would sell Pobega. I don't know about that, but Pobega, I mean, he could be capital gain. Yeah, you can use capital. You could use him. Maybe you can use him as an exchange for interesting players in the Serie A. Maybe. If Mike gets injured for half the season again, will you sell next mercato or keep? Sell. Actually, no, I don't know. It depends. It depends on who our second. Look, Sportiello should be the next goalkeeper coming in. Sportiello is a good goalkeeper. So I think the problem was not Mike being injured. The problem was Tatarusano being so far away from Mike's quality that the dip in quality was so big that Mike Magnan's absence was missed way too much. But if a dip of quality is not as big and it's a little bit smaller, then you start to miss him less. If you need depth everywhere, not just in the defense, not just in the midfield, not just in the offense. The goalkeeper, you need depth there in the goalkeeping department as well. Sportiello is a player still in his prime, a goalkeeper that can easily be a starter in many teams. So Sportiello should be officialized soon. He should be officialized soon. And I think that if we do have a period in which Magnan is absent and Sportiello comes in, we will feel the absence of Magnan less. So then you will have to consider whether or not selling him is good or not. Because at the end of the day, when Magnan is on the pitch, you know that you have one of the best players of football in the world on your team, giving confidence to the whole squad. If I want to win a Champions League, I put Mike Magnan in goal. If I want to win titles, I put Mike Magnan in goal. If that means that I got to miss him for, let's say, a few games here and there, c'est la vie. As long as the replacement, the second goalkeeper, is of high standards. Sportiello, as far as I consider him, is a very good second goalkeeper. I would say excellent second goalkeeper. If we show up in the Serie A next season with Magnan and Sportiello as our two goalkeepers, you have to say that Milan has the best goalkeeping department out of the Serie A. At least it's in the conversation. When it was just Magnan and Tatarusano, obviously, no, you can't say that. You can only say, yeah, Magnan is the best. But now that we have Magnan and Sportiello, our goalkeeping depth has to be in the conversation of being the, if not the best, one of the best in Italy, and maybe more than just Italy. But good question. Very good question, Lurk. Excellent question. I think the new strategy that these people, I read that earlier. I guess we won't find the new Chow or the new Kalulu. Yeah, exactly. If one thing that Maldini was very good at was finding these gems in defense. 100%. I hope Chiara stays. We need experience in defense, a leader after Ibra. Good point, SG. One thing that worries me a little bit about this Mercato and this Moneyball strategy is that you're really focusing on the youth and on the talent, but you need more. You need the experience. You need the fathers. You need those alpha leaders. Now, of course, Magnan is 20, going to 28. So now he's an experienced player soon. Even Krunic, whatever. But look at what Ibra brought to this team. Look at Giroud's impact in this team. Look at Kjaer's impact on this team. Even Florenzi from the bench and how he did his work from the bench, how that was really professionally done. Too bad of his injury situation. Otherwise, Florenzi would have been a great signing, but because of his injuries, it's hard to say that. Yes. If this club just relies on young talents, boy, it's going to be a difficult ride. Very well said. Very well said. Bro, Tomori should go nowhere. Kiara can leave, but Tomori and Kalulu should stay. No chance that I will let them leave. If one of them has to go, then it should be Kalulu, but even that is hard. I agree with you, man. I love the fucking project that we built with under Maldini, Kalulu and Tomori. These are Maldini's children, man. These are incredible. I look at Kalulu and Tomori, what they did during the year of the Scudetto. Them two, and Mike Magnan in goal. That trident, that pyramid, that triangle was so instrumental in winning us that league. And then the next year, because the team in general was struggling, then Tomori was struggling, and now you have this idea that Tomori is not this or that. No, Tomori is a great freaking defender. Listen, guys, I've said this, and I'll say it again. I've seen Maldini have really shit seasons with Milan. Okay, I've seen Milan finish 11th in the league with Maldini in it. I've seen many seasons that Milan was struggling to finish top four with Maldini in that team, with champions in that team. Okay, so just because Tomori had a bad season does not mean that this guy is a bad player. It does not. No, Tomori is an excellent player. We should keep him forever. Fuck, Tomori should be one of the pillars of this team going forward. Kalulu, 500K. I see why selling him would be appealing. The capital gain on that is massive, massive. But also Kalulu, you can mold him, right? You can mold him into an exceptional player. I'd sell Tomori if it meant keeping Teo. Sure. Okay. If you have to do that, one or the other, yeah. I think most people would say Teo. Yeah. I think that's a no-brainer. Dovrebbero andare dietro i nuovi talenti dei Paesi Bassi. Holland always great when it comes to talent, for sure. The era when they went after CDK, they were looking as well at I think you're talking about Now Lang. Now Lang, we had personal agreements settled with Now Lang, but I think Bruges and Milan, they didn't come to an agreement, and then Milan just decided to go for the cam. Now Lang is a left winger, so maybe the idea was back then sell Rebic, bring in Now Lang, or sell Leao, bring in Now Lang. But I think you're talking about Now Lang. Yeah, I don't see any links with us and Now Lang. It's been a while since I've seen those Now Lang be linked to Milan. It's hard. I don't want to sell anybody the team almost. Krunic can go, Rebic can go, Kjær can go, Origi, obviously. CDK would want to keep for a season at least. Alexi should stay for depth. I definitely would not sell Alexi Salamakers because he provides a lot of different solutions technically from the bench. And if you need also as a starter. Also, he's so young, so his ceiling is very interesting. Of course, Alexi Salamakers being used as an attacking winger doesn't really show his qualities, but I wouldn't sell him. Krunic, I would keep because of the utility and depth. Kjær, I don't know, man. Kjær, obviously, the guy is not happy. Rebic needs to go. Rebic, there's no space for Rebic. I mean, it's best for his career and it's best for Milan for Rebic to go. Opinions, just opinions. Krunic does nothing. He plays well 1% of the time. All he can do is run nonstop. That's the only thing he can do. I mean, I'm a fan of Krunic. I would not sell him, but if we need to, we will. Whatever. It's not a player that anybody here is crying about or is holding on to with dear life. So did CDK get Maldini fired? Must be hard for him emotionally. I was thinking about this, John. Not only CDK had this tumultuous season where he was being ripped apart by the media, where he basically his status as a footballer fell off, but now he's also being the main culprit responsible for Maldini's firing. So CDK's world has collapsed in front of him. Man, that guy, poor dude. Hey, what brings you down can only make you stronger. How many seconds is 1 second? Uh Good question. CDK will have to atone for his sins. CDK didn't get Maldini fired. Maldini got himself fired for asking more money publicly. Maldini had his own ambitions. He had his own drive. Maldini is not a yes man, first of all. Maldini is someone that when he thinks about Milan, he doesn't think of profiteering. He thinks about lifting up trophies. Maldini and Jerry could never work together. Never work together. Berlusconi would be perfect for Maldini. Berlusconi, someone that wants to make Milan into the best club in the world, that's who Maldini needs to work with. But anybody that has these lesser ambitions, that just wants to use Milan to make a buck, yeah, they can't work together. Maldini and a person like Jerry cannot work together. Maldini is not part of a Terminator system. Maldini is not part of Skynet. Maldini is the resistance. Maldini is the resistance. Skynet and the resistance cannot coexist. They're mortal enemies. So, yeah, for now, Skynet won. If we saw Pobega, we need Frattesi. Italian spot are crucial. Good point. We should have gotten now Lang instead of CDK, but they did not like his big mouth too loose. Yeah, big personality, but also position-wise. They're looking for a cam. CDK is more of a left winger. I mean, now Lang is more of a left winger. I think that was also one of the reasons. Sportiello to Tata is like Magnan to Tata. Sportiello is so much better player than Tata. Yeah, for sure. Sportiello is definitely going to bring much more quality to the goalkeeping department. We should just Milan. Fiorentina trying to get Zaniolo. Wow, that's interesting. That's his level. 10 more days and we get Sportiello and Kamada. Hopefully. We start a lot of games with Atalanta and also played well. Good keeper to have as depth. Absolutely, my man. I do not want to sell Tomori or Kalulu, but if we have to, we should replace him with Scalvini or Okoli. Both players, Scalvini and Okoli, in the U21. Okoli and Scalvini, the future of Italy. I love these two defenders. Shut the fuck up. This is Moneyball. Balls to experience. That's right, guys. Moneyball has come to take over this town. Is Sportiello a ball-playing goalkeeper like Mike? If not, we definitely need one for the style we play. I don't know if he's as good as Mike, but he is. He is a modern goalkeeper. Thing is, Mike is quite exceptional at that. I don't think there are many goalkeepers that are as exceptional as Mike. Chow is not getting sold. You can't have just the youths. You need a balance of veterans with the youths. Absolutely. If Milan wants their next camp superstar, they need to go for Gio Reyna. He was the best player for the USA team last night. I saw it. I'd go for Arda Guler, guys. Guler is my dude. Reyna was toying with Team Canada. Well, guys, Team Canada. And he dribbled around 6 minutes ago. Okay, that's good. No, listen, Reyna is really good. Very young, really good. I remember him when I was watching him when he first emerged in the scene. Very good player. I'm not going to discount his talent. Kalulu sarà come Andre Silva. Quando PSG bought both Ibra and Silva from Galliani, gli arabi verranno presto a prenderlo. Yeah, Kalulu is being linked to PSG, so maybe they're going to get him. Kalulu in the U21, by the way. So he is being watched very thoroughly by the French teams. Now Lang is doing well in international every time I hear his name, but I don't know how well he's doing in the league. I think now Lang scored against... Didn't he score... He scored it against Croatia. So he's doing well. Yeah, he's always being called up for the national team. Reyna's only 20. Yeah, no, Reyna's a good player. I'm not going to deny he's that. I think one of the reasons Milan didn't have much budget for transfer was because we do not sell players with a good price. Just look at our recent history selling players. Yes, this was an issue that I definitely criticized Maldini and Massara and everybody. It's like, Kessi, you should have sold him. Donnarumma, you should have sold him. Çalhanoğlu, you should have sold him. You should have sold these guys 1 year before. But isn't it interesting that all the players that we ended up losing for free were players that came from the Fassone Mirabelli era. Every single player that was acquired under Maldini, under the Maldini DS ship, was renewed, including the impossible one, Leao. Now, the new propaganda is it's because of Furliani. Furliani negotiated the deal. Yeah, Furliani is a banker. He's an economist. He probably has a degree in law, since that operation was very unique because of the lawsuit that they had with Sporting. Furlani is paid to negotiate contracts, but to convince players to stay in the project, the sporting aspect, that's not Furlani's job. That was Maldini's job. And all the players that came in under the Maldini DS ship, they all got renewed. Every single one of them. Now there's one left. His name is Magic Mike Magnan. Let's see if Skynet and the Terminator can renew Magic Mike Magnan. Because because Maldini was not able to renew any of the players that were acquired from the previous DSs. Let's see if Mike Magnan is a player that this new DS ship can renew. We'll find out. It's the TikTok curse, I'm telling you. The TikTok curse. Maldini's brave. Maldini's very brave. Too brave. I think that Daniel Maldini farà 10 milioni meglio della stagione passata adesso che Paolo non c'è più. That's a good point, actually, right? I think that Maldini, without his father there, maybe less pressure. Maybe, yeah, you might be right. My issue with this new management is, what is AC Milan's goal as a club? To remain in mediocrity. The goal is to achieve minimum objective, which is top 4. That's it. Guys, there is no, actually, in my opinion, this is just, I'm putting this out there, they don't even give a shit about going through the group stages of the Champions League. Why? Because now for 2 seasons in a row, the winter market was completely wasted. So they don't care. They don't care. All they care about is finishing top 4 and getting in the group stages. That's it. If that's the pressure, then it's not too bad for the players. They'll do well. What's the point of money ball if we just have the balls and no money? Sportiello does have good distribution. Good. Name 3 decent players you can buy for a total of 35 million. Arda Guler, 17.5 million. That's one. Oh, man. Shit, that's it. I can't think of other 2 that you can spend 15 million or 13 million left. No, more than that, 35 million. So 18 million left. With 18 million, what 2 players? If I'm going to get Arda Guler, that's a little bit, that's half, right? Then you have another 18 million left, more or less. Who do you get with 18 million? 2 players I can get with 18 million. Maybe pay the 10 million for Thuram. So now I have 8 million left. Arda Guler, Thuram. Now with 8 million, I need a midfielder because I have my cam/winger. I have my center forward. Now I need 8 million to get a midfielder. I would have to get a cheap midfielder from mid-table Serie A somewhere, maybe. I don't know. That's a good one, man. You guys tell me, guys. You tell me. I think with 35 million, I can get Arda Güler and I can get Thuram with that 10 million clause, right? The 10 million sign-in bonus. So that is 17 0.5 plus 10, that's 27 million. So now I have left 6.5. No, I have left 7.5 million with, yeah, more or less 8 million left. Guys, who can we get with 8 million? I don't know. You tell me. Now Lang messed up his knee. I did not hear about that. Reina injury prone. China doll. Okay. Stella Rossa che non valerà un cazzo. Lazetic. Are you talking about Lazetic? Lazetic went out on loan in Germany. He had 13 appearances, no goals. Lazetic may be a project that is not working. Lazetic somewhere, but some of it you have to keep on putting out on loan and see how he develops. One more thing I wanted to add was I think Maldini was in a different time than when you played for Milan was something to be proud of. He was so sure that players like Kaká and Donnarumma would stay. Yeah, maybe you're right about that. Real quick, please. Who has knowledge about the good players from Salzburg? Well, Salzburg has a lot of good players, right? Okafor is a player that we're linked to. What's his Kjaergaard is another player that Milan is linked to. Sesko isn't Sesko in Salzburg. Those are a lot of good players there. No, we didn't sell Kessie, but we won a Scudetto, so maybe it was worth it. Turned out he is hard to replace. Other than that, Roy is of course right that these were all Fassone Mirabelli players. Yeah, listen, with Kessie, we won the Scudetto, absolutely. We should have replaced him. But if we would have sold him, we probably could have replaced him with the money. You know, I mean, if you have the money to buy a player, then maybe we could have replaced him. Marco Penso, his name was from, Marco Lazetic. Turkish kid is like a Haaland, low transfer fee, but you got to pay his whole family to get him. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. There's top-notch free agents, Roy. Easy question. Well, okay, so give me 3 players. I gave you 2. I can't think of a third. Chukwueze like 20 million, I believe, and the Turk 2 are enough. But they kind of play the same position. It's one or the other. So if I were to use that money, I would allocate it for different positions. Taremi for the right wing. I mean, Taremi. Okay, I'm going to do this, guys. Instead of buying 3 players, I'm going to get 2 players. I'm going to get Arda Guler for the right wing / Cam, and I'm going to get Taremi for center forward. That is exactly 35 million right there. Boom. Perfect market. Hjulmand, 8 million plus Messias and Rebic. Lecce would say yes to that in a heartbeat. I don't know if Messias and Rebic would want to play for Lecce. But no, good call, Mirad. Good call. What's going on with that Roback guy that Ibra brought in? We haven't heard much of him. We'll see what happens. Okafor, Kjaergaard, Sukcic, Sesko, yeah. Why aren't we being linked with Matteo Retegui? Retegui today, I saw him being linked to Fiorentina, actually. I saw that Inter has kind of, released the gas. Is because Inter is trying to keep Lukaku. Lukaku wants to stay with Inter. Lukaku loves Milano. Lukaku does not want to go away. This is his home. He wants to stay with Inter. So it looks like this is what they're doing. It looks like Inter might sell Onana and put the Lukaku deal in that sell. I don't know. Oh, I want to see Embolo in Milan. Embolo, very interesting player. Good shout out. Embolo, very impressive. Switzerland, definitely the best striker Switzerland has. Him and Okafor. Embolo is a good shout. I don't see him being linked to any clubs ever. That's a good shout, guys. Good one. Lecce won 2025 for Hjulmand. Bro's worth 10-15 tops. Agreed, SG. 100%. Point is, there's no money ball if you plan to fucking raise money from rejects. Players are like, yeah, and that's why I'm saying, my man, watch out. Big players might be sold. Remember, Freeland used to bring in 11 players for free back in the day. That was towards the end of Galliani's reign, Berlusconi's reign. We need a DM. Benacer won't be there for half the effing season. Hjulmand. Hell yeah, that would be a good market. Taremi and Guler for 35 million. That's it, guys. That's all you need. Taremi and Guler. Then bring in Kamada for free. And whatever. All right, let's see if there's any new. Let's just read the last chats here. Top right back Salzburg player Pavlovic, Okafor, RB Salzburg player. Sorry, Pavlovic, Okafor, Seywald, Susic, Kjærgaard, Gornadov, Dedic. Okay, yeah, Salzburg has a lot of interesting players, and Salzburg is a selling club, by the way. Looks like Ajax is close to. Oh my lord. Ajax is such a great destination for Arda Guler. It's like the perfect destination. No, come on, please. Please. Come on, Skynet. Come on, Skynet. Upgrade the system. Buy the new version of the program. Come on, Skynet. Guys, Ajax is such a good destination for a player like Arda Guler. And Ajax has no problem selling him for like 500 million like in 2 years. Oh my lord, I forgot about Ajax. I totally forgot about Ajax. That is 100% such a great destination for him. We have to hijack him. Come on. Robot got released? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I haven't heard much from Robot, guys. I did see that the agent was talking to the management. The agent did have a big meeting with the management. I don't know what was said. Like nothing has come out. Adamo from Salzburg, also a good striker. 3 players are Guler and Zola and Taremi. Well, Zola and Taremi kind of play the same position, no? They kind of play the same position. All right, let's go to Sempre Milan. Let's see if there's anything new, guys. And then that'll be it for today. Let's do a round of the newspapers. De Laurentiis says Osimhen must stay. We're going to keep him for longer. Rudy Garcia is the new coach of Napoli, by the way. Atalanta U23 might join Serie C, so it's happening for them. Atalanta might have their U23. Basically, Atalanta doing what Milan wanted to do with the U23 in the Serie C. Looks like Atalanta is about to do that. Okay, let's look. Let's go to the Gazzetta dello Sport live feed here. Let's see if there's anything interesting connected. Home, Atalanta looking for home. Gundogan still hasn't decided. He says he's tied to Borussia Dortmund, but I'll be honest, going back to Bundesliga is not in my plans. Let's see what happens with Gundogan. Very interesting player there. Very interesting player. Cristante renews with Roma. Guardiola says everybody knows where Mbappe wants to go. Yeah, he wants to go to Real Madrid. Barnamoff, fire their coach. Nobody cares. Nothing here important. Al-Khelaifi si muove perché PSG, guys. So one of the reasons that came out recently, that one of the reasons why Thuram is not in PSG scope anymore is because they're trying to go for Kane. The idea is that they are going to sell Mbappe, they are going to monetize on Mbappe, and they're going to go for Kane. Gazzetta dello Sport is saying that right now. According to Le Parisien, the president of PSG, Al-Khelaifi, is pushing to get Harry Kane, forward of Tottenham, independently of who will be the new coach. Official, Milan gets Colombo. Busquets might join Messi in Miami. Havertz towards Arsenal. Benfica trying to get Di Maria. Di Maria, interesting player. We should probably look at Di Maria. Okay, guys, check it out. Oh, never mind. This is Thuram's brother. So Newcastle, now that the Barella thing failed, we're going to try and get Kefrem Thuram from Nice. Barcelona, guys, another club with zero money, bought, a Brazilian superstar. I don't know how they did it. Vitor Roque. Vitor Roque. Barcelona on Vitor Roque. Real Madrid got Joselu Mato, the guy that scored against Italy. It looks like he's officially a Real Madrid player. Barcelona is on Gundogan. Barcelona trying to get Gundogan. Walker, interesting free agent there. Man City, half linked to Milan. Gazzetta dello Sport says Walker towards Bayern. Strootman, Genoa. We don't care about that. Fiorentina looking to renew Castrovilli. Lecce is looking for the yes of Nasty. Lecce is going after Nasty. So interesting there. Milan tied player Nasty. Gazzetta dello Sport says that Lecce is looking for Nasty. Piontek ready to reduce his wages in order to get back to Genoa, who I believe got back to Serie A. Okay, so that is general market news. Let's go to specific Milan news. Oh my God, here it is. Here it is, guys. The news I did not want to read. Ajax are currently much closer to signing Arda Guler from Fenerbahce this summer, despite the interest from AC Milan in the youngster, a report claims. As has been reported by beIN Sports via Calciomercato, the Dutch side are trying to act fast. It is such an Ajax kind of signing, guys. It's such an Ajax kind of signing. The Dutch side are trying to act fast and make sure that they are in a position to win back the Eredivisie title from Feyenoord next season. Guler has been heavily linked with a move to Milan for many months now, but the deal for him is another that has stalled following the sacking of Paolo Maldini and Frederic Massara. It seems that much like Ruben Loftus-Cheek at Chelsea, Guler could be another player that gets away from Milan because the transfer strategy is still being finalized by those who suddenly have a lot more responsibility, aka Skynet and the Terminator. The player should now be available for 17.5 million release clause fee after he hit his 1.5 K minute target with Turkish side. So I see the Ajax operation happening so badly. Like, he is so perfect for Ajax, but I think he's even more perfect for AC Milan. He is even more perfect for AC Milan. Arda Guler is my dream signing of the summer. Okay, let's go to milannews.it, Vitiello's website. Let's see if there's anything interesting there that maybe Sempre Milan has not caught. I remind everybody, these websites, Milan News, Milan Reports, Sempre Milan, these are not journalists. There are no journalists here. There's just websites that collect all the different newses that are regarding AC Milan, and they just put them all in one. Okay, it's a hub. It's basically just a hub of Milan news. So there's Ollie Fisher is not out there talking to agents. He's not there. He's pretty much reporting what Fabrizio Romano reports, what Di Marzio reports, what Calciomercato Longo reports. That's all this is, guys. Okay? Remember, let's not forget that. Calciomercato Milan. There's nothing much. Palermo looking at nasty. There's almost nothing here on Milan news. Nothing interesting here on Milan news. It looks like Sempre Milan is covering everything. Let's go to Milan reports. Okay, well, we have this article that I was trying to look for earlier regarding Hjulmand and Nasty. So I'll read this. As anticipated by Milan Press, Sport Mediaset confirmed the interest of AC Milan club management in signing Lecce Danish defensive midfielder Morten Hjulmand. As per the source, the player is a concrete idea indeed for the Rossoneri. The 23-year-old is currently the captain of Lecce, a team he has been playing for since January 2021, despite his contract expiring on June 30th, 2024, with an option for Lecce to extend it for another season. He is valued at 25 million euros. AC Milan would like to partially cover his amount by including a technical counterpart in the deal. For example, Lecce is reportedly very interested in Marco Nasti, a 19-year-old striker for AC Milan who spent the season on loan in Serie B with Cosenza. So that is the article that I wanted to look at earlier. Interesting, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, so this is interesting here. Adrian Temeze. We're being linked to Temeze according to this article. Let's just read it. Let's see what it says. AC Milan are studying several options in the market this summer in order to be able to reinforce Stefano Pioli's team for next season. An all-targets name has returned in fashion at Casa Milan, reportedly. We are talking about French defensive midfielder Adrien Temeze. This was reported by Corriere dello Sport today. Temeze is 29 years old with Cameroon origins. He piled his trade for Hellas Verona and has played in 39 matches this season for his club. He's a candidate to reinforce the midfield department for Rossoneri because Timuko Bakayoko has left and Yassine Ali's future could be away from the San Siro, while Asser Vranks shall not be signed permanently. Well, Temeze in 29? Really? Not so money-ballish. Besides, Ismail Benacer's injury, and he will take a long time to reach full recovery. That's why AC Milan may attempt to sign Temeze this summer. Last season, reportedly, Hellas Verona demanded a fee of 20 million euros. What? But now the price is considerably low. AC Monza and Genoa are also keen on the player. According to the Italian newspaper, Temeze is also attracting attention in France. And if the AC Milan managers really want him, they will have to launch an attempt soon while the iron is hot to secure him at a reasonable price. The right-footed former Nice player, whose contract runs out until the summer of 2024, is seen as an alternative to the regular starters in the midfield rather than a primary reinforcement. Very interesting news regarding Temeze, a player that Guido, Antonio's father, speaks highly of quite often. Okay, so George Weah, AC Milan legend, one of my favorite AC Milan players of all time. I remember him. I was a kid when he played with AC Milan. I remember being in school and everybody, all my friends were jealous of Milan because of George Weah. All of them, the Juventus fans, the Inter fans, they're all so jealous The only reason why you guys win all the time is because of where. That's the kind of shit they used to say. They were so jealous. I loved it. I loved it. He made all of my friends jealous. George Weah, Ballon d'Or winner, fantastic footballer. Let's see what he said regarding Maldini. He had an interview with Gazzetta dello Sport. La Gazzetta dello Sport interviewed the 1995 Ballon d'Or winner George Weah. The Liberian president has a close connection with Italy and especially fond memories of the RossonARI club. He mentions a few of them himself. It's difficult to choose. Maybe my decisive goal against Roma at Olimpico or the victory against Juventus in Turin 1999. The comeback Scudetto was beautiful. When you believe in an objective and have quality, you always achieve it. Well, not only spoke about his past for Milan when asked about Paolo Maldini, with whom he shared the field, the Liberian comments. Paolo is a champion. I've spoken to him and told him, Paolo, you mustn't be discouraged. That's how the job is. All jobs require results. Milan stopped at the Champions League semifinals and gave reason to let him go, but his work at the club is good and won't be undone. Have you seen how long it took Guardiola to win the Champions League with City? Yet Guardiola is excellent. It takes time, but Paulo has great abilities and will succeed as a director. Paulo, by the way, is being linked as a DS to a Saudi club right now. On Berlusconi, George West said, you always believed in me. Silvio Berlusconi, he said, I would be a great president for my country. I'm very saddened by his death. He was never just the president of Milan or the Italian prime minister to me. I remember when I arrived at Milan from France, I played in the Berlusconi trophy and missed a penalty. People started criticizing, but he said, missing a penalty can happen. It doesn't matter. George will make history with Milan, and we won the Ballon d'Or. Oh, that's beautiful. On his son, Timothy Weah, who plays for Lille as a right winger. Timothy, I'm very proud of him. We're all proud in the family, including George Jr., who had to quit due to many knee problems. Timothy is exploring his options. We'll see. He's talking to some clubs. He's still young and will find his path in European football. George Weah, the memories that George Weah has given me will stay with me forever. Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, forever. All right, guys. So Skynet is searching. Skynet is lurking. Skynet is right there, weaving through the dark web, looking for John Connor, looking for its target, waiting for the right moment to pounce and capture. And then we can finally download and install the new players into the AC Milan program. Skynet is active. Skynet is always active. Skynet is always looking at you straight in the eyes. All right, guys, we are done for the day. We have covered all the news so far. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, guys. Let's see what happens in these upcoming days. I'm sure tomorrow we're going to do the news again and whatnot. Let's see how some of the Pelegatis, the Vitellos, they think this week is going to be a very important week. Let's see if they're right. Let's see if they're right. Moncada plus Skynet equals success, hopefully. Is Billy Bean in Milan yet or operating from the USA? No, Billy Bean operates from the USA. He has this company, I believe, in Texas. I believe his company is in Texas. Timothy is not ready. Where the legend? Who do you think will win Euro 21? Obviously, I hope Italy wins it, but hard to say. U21s are quite unpredictable. The only thing I can say this. I know France has a very good roster. I don't know what the other rosters look like. Obviously, it's very hard to know what all the other rosters look like, because we're talking about these players that are not very well known. They're all basically the future players of the respective national teams. But one thing I got to say is this: that this is the best Italy team I have seen in over a decade. Last time Italy had a team like this, which was actually weaker than this team, I think, not offensively, but in general weaker than this team, was when Insigne was an under 21. You had Immobile, Insigne, Verratti. When they were in the under 21s, that was the last time I saw a strong Italy. That Italy made it to the finals, but then they lost to Spain in the finals. That has to be over a decade ago. And ever since then, all the next iterations of Italy, albeit had like a few various decent players, none of those Italies had convincing rosters. All those Italies since that Italy there, which was not the best under 21 I had ever seen, it was just the last good one I saw. All the ones up until this one had a lot of players that don't even play in the Serie A. Well, this time around, for the first time in many, many, many years, the U21 Italy is packed with players that play in the Eight Sisters and in the Serie A. The midfield has Tonali, Rovella, Bove, and Miretti, and whatnot, and other players. All players that are in Serie A. The defense, all Serie A players. The goalkeeper, Serie A players. The offense, you got Gnonto, he's an EPL player. You got Colombo, you have Cancellieri, you have a lot of good players. And also the U20 has a super good squad too. That is going to be the next reiteration of the U21s. So the immediate future of Italy is looking very, very good. Now, that doesn't mean that Italy is the favorites, or it doesn't even mean that Italy is going to go through the group stages. All I'm saying is that Italy has a very good squad, but the other teams have good squads too, right? I don't know who else is in the competition. I should definitely check. But the other teams have very good squads too. So let's not pretend that Italy is the only team that has a good squad. Skynet plus Jerry, aka Terminator, equals virus. My biggest fear is we chase targets like Chukwueze and Guler for a long time, but we miss out and do panic signings at the end of the window. It is definitely a possibility, my man, for sure. All right, guys. I want to thank everybody for joining the Skynet system and being part of the AI universe. AI has taken over. AI now rules the planet. AI now controls AC Milan. So thank you for being a cyborg. Thank you for being a bot. Thank you for being part of Skynet. Guys, if you have not, please click that like button on your way out. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Do all those good things. Thank you for joining. I was thinking of starting a live Milan chat. Basically, the chat will keep on just being open after the newscast till the next day. And maybe I can update the chat with some news here and there. It is something that we might be doing, guys. So let's say people want to stay and talk and chit chat, they can keep on doing that. It is something that we're considering. And basically, after the newscast, the live is just going to keep on going with, like, let's say, music or a video and music in the background. And it's going to keep on going live for like 13, 14, 16, 17, 18 hours, basically 24 hours till the next day. It's good for money, revenue, 100%. And also, if people want to stick around and talk about Milan, they can do that. So we are thinking, yeah, we do have a WhatsApp group. And Twitter, we're definitely doing Twitter. We're definitely doing Twitter. So now I think one of the next things that I'm thinking on doing for money revenue is to just keep the newscast after we're done with the newscast. Just have a repeating, kind of like those live chats that you have on YouTube, and it just keeps on going for 24 hours. Obviously, nobody's nobody's streaming. It's just the chat is live, and we're going to update the chat with news. And then if people want to stay and chat, they can. They can go. They can leave. They can come and do whatever. So it's something that maybe we'll be starting this week. It could be a good way to make money, revenue from ads, having this thing go on for 24 hours every day. It'd be interesting to. I mean, the thing about newscasts is like a newscast can only last one day. It's like when you put up a video of a highlight reel. Highlight reels you can watch now and forever, but newscasts only have the life cycle of one day. So why not exploit the full day as far as ad revenue? Just keep the thing going on for 24 hours. Put up a message, pin the message saying, if you want to watch the newscast, rewind, stream till the beginning. But the thing just keeps on going for 24 hours, so it stays active. I'll have a video just on loop with maybe a 7-8 minute music video on loop. And if people want to stay and chat, they can chat. And if they don't, they don't. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, the Twitter thing will definitely take advantage for sure. Leao. I would love to. Oh, that'd be great if we can get Leao. We do have a Twitter, yes. And yeah, we do have a WhatsApp group. We have a crazy WhatsApp group with a lot of fucked up shit in it. And we have a normal WhatsApp group. Maybe debate opposing streamers, teams to grow the channel. Maybe, yeah, that's a good one. We love debates here. We love to get into fights and debates. Nobody is scared to pull punches. All right. Anyway, guys, thank you everybody for joining us. I really appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow for the newscast tomorrow. Let's see what the Milan universe brings tomorrow. Let's see if Skynet and the Terminator achieve their quest. Having said that, guys, thank you everybody for joining us today. It is always a pleasure being here with you and talking to the Milan community. Thank you for everybody that contributes to the chat, contributes your ideas, and opens up discussions and all of that. We appreciate you. We will see you next time. Alla prossima. Arrivederci. And ciao. And Forza Milan. But also never forget Forza Maldini. Peace.